Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's the finals for Group 2 of the Alpha League. My name's Slowwolf. I'll be one of your casters today. We will have a Rallo, although he will be here in a couple of minutes. He needs to get a couple of things done first. There we go. We've got a Rallo. So yeah, there you have it. I've got Rallo joining me. How you doing, dude?
I am doing very tired. It's been a very long week. But hey, Warhammer always brightens my day.
Yeah, well, mine too. And if you need to take a break or whatever, just let me know. I'd be happy to go ahead and take it, pick up the slack, as it were. It's no worry.
No, it's fine. I'd say I can stick around for like until 5:30. So just give 4 hours. But
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful. No worries. Okay, well, for today's game, we do have an interesting matchup here between the Necrons of Novak Dynasty going against Dutes, who we've had on the stream before. Sisters doing a very strong job against the Iron Hands, piloted by Chris H. In the previous match they were featured here on the channel. Before we get started, though, I just wanted to go ahead and throw a shout out to the music that I've been using, Death by Dice Volume 1 by Midwinter Minis, or produced by Midwinter Minis. You can find it over on Bandcamp.com. It's a great little album for all those kind of background, grimdark things that you want to have in your life. Now that said, this is the grand finals. This is a competitive game, obviously, so no backseat gaming while you're in the chat. And yeah, let's get this party started. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map. This is going to be an overrun mission from the GT 2020 pack. And I would love to go over the lists very quickly. So I'm going to quickly go through the Necron list since I know this one relatively well. We've got 2 detachments. We have a Supreme Command detachment with Sarek, the Silent King, a man who has an entire page worth of rules. It's insane. He's a beat stick, he's a shoot stick, he's a buff stick, he's everything you want in a 450 point package. And he's the warlord for this army, which means that he's going to have 4 different command protocols, and in addition, he'll be able to pick one of those 4 command protocols twice. Finally, he'll also be able to slot in whatever he wants in as a command protocol that he hasn't picked at a certain point. So this army is going to be making use of those at a certain point for sure. Then we have a Novak battalion. It is featuring not 1, not 2, but 3 different Chronomancers. One with a Tesla metadermal Tesla weave, which gives them mortal wounds when they're close to people, and then 2 other Chronomancers just keep things going up and running. So that means that these Chronomancers will be running around giving 5-up invuln saves and reroll charges to a variety of different units over the course of the game. We also have 2 Crypto Thrall units. One here, the other one's being deployed currently. They're going to protect the Chronomancers and also act as great little action monkeys running around and giving, raise banners or deploy scramblers or whatever else. Then we've got 3 groups of Necron Warriors, all of them, 2 of them are 20-man strong, the other one's a 10-man strong, all of them equipped with Gauss Reapers, which are great short-range blaster weapons doing a lot of damage, 2 squads of 9 Scarab Swarms, 2 Ghost Arcs, and that finishes it off. A very powerful little army, to say the least, and does the trick for their secondaries. The Novak today have picked Assassinate, raise the banners high, and engage on all fronts. Now, the reason why this is going to be good is when we'll take a look at the Sisters list. We've seen the Sisters list before, and if you want to check the list for yourselves, put !lists in the chat. The Sisters list is effectively fronted by 3 squads of Repentia and Rhinos, each of their own color, 3 squads of Retributors with multi-multas, so blasting these super hot lances of laser heat all over the place. You have a few HQs to back this up, a missionary to give it extra attacks to people, Zephyrim to run up and do a bunch of attacks that way, and then 2 squads of Seraphim, with one with hand flamers, one with inferno pistols, both of them more than lethal when the time requires of it. And then for the big HQs, we got a Hospitaller to give some bonuses, an Inquisitor with esoteric lore to get some extra CP back, Junith Iruta, who works as a captain and a lieutenant all rolled into one, so rerolling once they hit and wound makes her particularly brutal, and then an Imagifier with Tail of the Stoic, giving additional -1s to AP, like ignoring effectively. So if it's just a bolt rifle or something like that, this will be ignoring it. The two groups are going to be fronted by the Order of the Bloody Rose for the melee detachment, and the Order of Our Martyred Lady for the multi-melted detachment. And that's it!
That's what I was most curious about, because he took, of course, Judith Aruda, which can only be taken in a Martyred Lady detachment.
Mm-hmm.
So he's obviously not going for the double minus, like ignoring -1 and -2 to AP, which
No.
is fun. You know, good to see something a bit different. You know, I never get to see this lovely Palanquin. I love this model.
It is a beautiful model, to say the least. Now, it does explain the secondaries quite well, actually. So, for Kellen Feller, look, for our Necron player, we've got Assassinate, Raise the Banners High, and Engage on all fronts as our secondaries. Rallo, what do you think about those secondaries, and do you think that they'll work against our sister's opponent?
I actually do like these because sister's characters are not that durable. If you can get your hands on them, all they have is power armor and a faith save. They're not particularly gonna have loads of feel no pains, which I think the hospitalizer gives. I'll have to double check that.
The Hospitalizer definitely brings people back. That much I do know.
Yeah, which, you know, can't do that to a character. But it's just, these aren't, you know, Space Marine characters with 6 wounds, 2-up saves, and a 4-up invul, and, you know, they've got these bodyguards rolling around. Like, Assassinate's not a trap with sisters. If you can break through their support, you can get them pretty well. Engage on all fronts, he definitely has the movement and just number of troops to do it. You know, these Ghost Arcs can move up, they can get that pretty easily. And, you know, Scarabs as well. I mean, he can get these things. Raise the Banners High. I on this mission I would almost never take if you've got some way equal armies. Like, you can plant 3 flags immediately, and if you can just hold that, you know, you'll max it out easy.
Do you think you can?
Oh yeah. I do question it for the Necrons more than I question it for sisters, though, because of these, you know, Sister Repentia just catapult rhinos that we got here.
Yeah.
So I think he'll definitely have to screen out his objectives if he wants to keep those flags.
Now, there are quite a lot of OBSEC models here. Like, the Necron Warriors are no slouch, and they can definitely take the heat against multi-meltas and such better than pretty much anything else in the game. Like, if you've got 8 multi-melta shots, the Necron Warriors really don't care. And they just tend to come back. So that's not what's going to hurt them. And if they try to swing Repentia into that, that's potentially a lot of Overwatch, and they can definitely fight back with their 5-up invuln. The damage 2 kind of gets wasted off the Repentia. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm equally a little bit torn about Raise the Banners for the Necrons here, but I see where it's coming from. They have a lot of units that can do it. The Crypto Thralls are excellent at just walking forward, grabbing the banner, and then calling it a day. The Scarabs are great for running around, tagging rhinos, surrounding them, so that way you can't really pile out of them or anything. There's definitely some play here. Deployment shows that this seems to be exactly what both armies are going for, though. We've got a Battle Sister squad that's going to be able to move up and take this bottom left objective. We've got another Battle Sister squad getting ready to move up and take this bottom right objective, and raise banners on both, because for the sisters, it's worth remembering, they also have raised the banners. And engage on all fronts. They also brought Bring It Down, which I'm a little bit curious about. How do you feel about Bring It Down here?
I don't understand it. Like, you get 6 off of the Ghost Arcs. Because
this is pre-FAQ, yeah.
Monster, is that...
Sarek is also a vehicle, but he's less than 18 wounds, so he's still only worth 3 points. So it's a total of 9 points, which is slightly below average. But that means that he's...
if you kill all 3 of them.
Yeah, which Retributors could do, but it is worth remembering that their fire is going to be ridiculously ineffective compared to usual, since they have not only the transhuman physiology, so, like, you know, despite the fact that they're toughness 6, those meltas are still only wounding on 4s. But on top of that, they can be easily given a 4-up invuln save. Zarek has a 4-up invuln save, baseline. And although he doesn't have the quantum shielding, he does have 2 miniers that you have to shoot through first. He can still be obscured, and more importantly, he can still be useful even if he just hides and gives buffs. So
do the miniers, are they vehicles? Do they count?
Good question. I think that you have to kill the whole unit, because the miniers themselves aren't anything, really. It's the Silent King Zarek himself that's actually the vehicle. The other 2 I don't think are worth anything for Bring It Down, pre or post FAQ. Interesting deployment.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah, it is a good question. I like this deployment, though. We got the 10 squad of Necron Warriors hiding next to this Ghost Ark. They are visible, which is potentially an issue, but I like that the 10-man squad is right there, ready to be healed by them, pop into the Ghost Ark if they need to be able to move around. That's a good place to put them. The other Necron Warriors are being backlined behind these Scarabs. Interesting.
I think one of the big things to point out, though, is the sister player doesn't actually have a lot of horde clearance other than the Repentia and the Zephyrim. Like, all of this range stuff is really more meant to get, you know, your Space Marine level armies where, like, all the troops are kind of elite and you want to wipe them out.
Yeah, and none of it's really effective against Scarab Swarms if those Scarab Swarms get the 5-up invuln. I think that this Necron army is uniquely durable against Sisters. That said, Sisters are an incredible army right now. Dudes' list is stellar at what it does. We saw it was capable of doing to an Iron Hands list that was pretty well built, and that managed to defeat a Magnus Demons list earlier in the finals, like earlier in the tournament.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was a really good match. That should actually be up on YouTube now. Let's go ahead and plug that quickly. Alpha League has a YouTube. You can go ahead and check it out yourself. I'll go ahead and find the link. But we've been uploading the videos pretty consistently over the past couple of days. We're now up to Chris and Glarg's game, which was the Iron Hands versus Magnus. It was a really good match. Really close, too. Came down to the wire.
Do we know which like miracles the sisters took? If they chose the one or rolled for the two?
That is a great question. Let's go ahead and take a look at their list. But if I remember correctly, they were chosen, and they were both, like, pretty... Yeah, this makes sense. Where on earth did I put my stuff? There's my battle scribe. There it is. Took forever to find it. I don't know why. So, sisters. Let's see. Their Bloody Rose. I know that they have the extra hits on 6s, which I'm pretty sure is is one of them. And then for the other group, it doesn't say. We could definitely try asking them. But I don't remember off the top of my head.
Sure, I'm thinking of the right thing.
By the way, RP Varela, that's some cool artwork. Yeah, if there's one thing that the Warhammer artists are really good at doing, it's capturing some of the newer, capturing the essence of the armies in their newer artwork. The Necron art, I believe, first premiered in the 7th edition codex. I could be extremely wrong about that, but it's an excellent piece of Necron art. And the Sisters art was done as of the most recent Sisters of Battle codex, and is probably my favorite representation of the Sisters of Battle to date. You know, the armor is effective. They are just really, really powerful looking in that piece of art. It's good times. It's very, very good times. And if anything, the codex and the power of the armies reflects that. They are extremely strong right now.
That is his sacred right. The passion for the unmodified 6 gives an additional hit. So that's army-wide. And if that's what he chose, then that's the only thing he gets. So
yeah. That's still really good.
Yeah, like, that's still really great, considering how many Repentia he's running and the Zephyrim and...
And we saw what the Zephyrim could do. They ripped their way through an entire squad of infiltrators without even really breaking an eye, without even breaking their stride, sorry.
Batting an eye.
Yeah, batting an eye, there we go, thank you. They were super, super strong. They managed to really slow down Chris and limit his movement right in the first turn. It was kind of brutal. And we'll have to see what happens. So this deployment here is very cagey for the most part. We have got Scarabs screening out, the Warriors largely hiding where they can. We got a Chronomaster backing up each of the blobs, it seems. Now, there's a couple of interesting little gaps that have been popping up so far, and right now I'm wondering where exactly he's going to be hiding Zarek, because if he doesn't hide Zarek, Zarek will die. So I'm imagining that this space over here is for Zarek when he pops up. That's still visible to a good chunk of the map here. There's definitely some room for the Retributors to move and shoot him. We'll have to see. But this so far, deployment for the Necrons is pretty front and center, with one Chronomancer per Warrior/Scarab squad, with enough room left over for the Ghost Arks to be placed, and Zarek is being placed last as a means of trying to avoid being Retributed in the face. As for the Sisters player, Dutes, deploying in a similar manner as as last time, with rhinos perfectly capable of moving around and finding a place to hide turn 1 and then pumping out the Repentia turn 2. We've got one sister squad per objective near their deployment zones. What is Overrun, by the way? Is Overrun a hold 2, hold 3, hold more? Or is it a hold 1, hold 2?
I'm pretty sure that's a hold 2, hold 3, hold more.
Yeah, so holding those objectives is going to be very difficult, and staying bubbled up is going to be hard to do and potentially a problem. The Necron army does have the benefit of not needing to bubble up, but okay, down comes Zarek, about as hidden as he could be behind this very thin L. Not necessarily where I would have chosen, but it is a pretty good spot. Right now, the Retributors are more or less placed. We have one squad here in this rune. They will probably be able to move in such a way as to be able to get line of sight turn 1, if not turn 1, turn 2. The other one's on the other side of the map, and we'll probably never see Zarek in any meaningful way before Zarek has made his impact on the battle apparent. The last Retributor squad does need to go down still, so there's a potential of 2 Retributor squads going into Zarek. I'm not sure what the math is, but I don't think it looks good for Zarek. If Zarek pokes his head out, it's going to be a bad time.
Especially because I know there's that Retributor stratagem that affects all of the weapons. I'm trying to find that.
That's the one that gives them like +1 to wound, +1 damage or something like that.
Oh, it's +12 to range.
Yeah, it's
and
gross.
They add 1 to the damage roll.
It's insane, and it's like what, maximum 2 CP?
It's 2 CP.
Yeah, it's super worth it though. It's super worth it.
Add 1 to the hit roll, and flamers you can reroll wounds. But Meltas, yep, +12 inches and +1 damage.
Insane. It's so strong, especially because that 12 inches tends to mean that you're within half range all at once, and at that point, like, that's +3 damage to that damage roll. It is nutter butters. It makes me sad because, you know, the ion accelerator for the Tau is supposed to be like this crazy gun. You know, it's supposed to like blow up almost anything in one shot. And then these multi-meltas pop up. It's like, yeah, but we do twice as much damage as you do.
Oh gosh.
It's crazy. They're so good. Rallo, do you think that Sisters might be one of the 2 factions in the game that's looking at 9th edition and going, well, you know what, we don't need a codex?
Not gonna lie, their 8th codex covers everything pretty goddamn well.
Because it wasn't like a lot of the other factions in the army where they had this, you know, what was the Psychic Awakening books,
yeah,
which were what really revitalized their competitiveness. Like, you look at NIDS, you look at
AdMech,
AdMech, you look at all these things, and it was like, these supplements are really what brought them in line and balanced them out. Where Sisters, you know, they got their book towards the end of the edition. It's an amazing book that was hands down one of the best things you could get. And yeah, Sisters are highly competitive. We still don't see them that much, which it astounds me. On tabletop, I get it because, you know, they're a horde army and their models are expensive as all get out. And, you know, it's just not something everyone's after. But on tabletop sim, I'm surprised we don't see more because they're very good and strong, and there's a lot of different ways to play them.
Yeah, well, Sisters are one of those factions that in TTS has been represented really well in some other circles. I know that the T5S2 has some very strong players playing in it, 2 of which are in my pod that I'm playing over there, and they are frightening. I think part of the reason why we don't see them in a lot of real-life tournaments right now is because a lot of the models were relatively new before, you know, COVID happened, and real-life tournaments had to be put to the side because, you know, health and safety reasons. But the new models, the new range, the new rules and everything never really had a chance to breathe. And so as a result, we haven't had a chance to really see them at stuff like, you know, like an LVO or something like that. Now, we did see them win the LV Nopen, because #shield wall, but, you know, it was a... like, they're a crazy good faction just baseline, and, yeah, I love them.
I really wanted to run the Mortifier Horde, and I never got the chance.
Maybe someday. Hey, you know what? There's always next season of Alpha League, dude. You could give it a shot.
Yeah, but that's... I'm not really a fan of super meme lists. Like, they're fun in concept, but to actually spend an entire competitive tournament running it...
I hear you. It's always fun to play something with a little bit more variety and some extra spice attached to it. Mind you, Sisters lists do have that, even though, like, this is a very competitive list and it seems a bit spammy. I mean, it does have 3 full squads of Retributors, 3 full squads of Repentia. There are some extra pieces of tech. You mentioned earlier that Judith Iruda is something that you don't see very often in these lists. Why do you think that is?
It's just because people don't like to run Martyred Lady, which is the only way you can get her. It's not like um because a lot of the other I don't know what the word is, like orders. Yeah, they a lot of people like to run the steel one, the metal. I forget what it's called,
Yeah, I know which one you're
but
talking about. It's like Ardent Valor or something like that. Um,
yes, to
but
get
the -1 AP ignore
which
benefit from that. Yeah.
it specifically stacks with the Imaginifier to get the -2, and Argent Shroud with all of their bonuses. Bloody Rose is the other big one because you
Yeah.
have a lot of really good melee units here, and it's amazing.
And the
And
fact
it's
that you can
just
kind of cross factions around and not suffer any real downside to it within Sisters is really strong.
well, it's gonna cost you CP these days, so there is
True.
that.
But it is well worth it right now with the one extra detachment. Currently, Dutes is spending, I think, 3 CP on a Vanguard detachment to make the Order of the Bloody Rose detachment work. But yeah, that's it really. Whatever extra relics, whatever he spent, he's still sitting on at least like 8 or 9 CP, which is more than enough for a Sisters army. CP is not a big deal to them. I think because of the Miracle Dice.
Miracle dice.
Miracle Dice! Speaking of which, we have a nice little Miracle Dice pool here that we've got Dudes having made, which is very, very helpful. Oh, and doesn't, is it Judith or somebody else that allows the Miracle Dice to get re-rolled?
I think that's the Triumph of Saint Catherine.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, so Judith just gives you reroll ones and to hit and wound. It's only for martyred lady units.
Yeah, but that's all Judith wants to do.
Yeah.
Can we start? Yes. Please do. Alright, and we got our command protocols all laid out as well with the 2 extras in case Zarek decides to swap them around.
She does increase the invul save of all units next
6
to her
each.
by 1.
2 6s again. The battle begins. They're still rolling to see who gets the pick to go first. Necrons roll 3 6s in a row, so the Necrons can choose to go first or second. We will find out shortly which one it is. What do you predict?
I'm gonna say probably first. I mean,
I would say so too.
He can kind of snipe these rhinos out to leave these Repentia in the dirt. And
Importantly, put up the 5-up invulns with the Chronomaster onto the units that they need to go on as well. Yeah. No, there's definitely there's a huge incentive to go first here for the Necrons. We'll have to see if Kellen is in agreement with us.
It's also going to delay these Seraphim.
It is indeed the Necrons' turn 1. All right, so why don't we go ahead and ask our chat a question. Who do you think is going to end up with the most points after turn 3? Let's start a prediction here. Who's going to have more points by the end of turn 3? Question mark. First outcome is Necrons. The second outcome is Sisters. You guys will have approximately 30 minutes to go ahead and answer that question however you wish. Oh, and apparently I am a couple... Who's going to have by turn 3? There. Good. Got it. Okay, start prediction. Go ahead and give it a shot, folks. If you guys want to go ahead and bet some points, hey. Let's see what you guys think. Do you believe the Necrons more or the Sisters more? Let us know in the predictions. We've got our Chronomatron being put on the white Scarabs, the purple Warriors, and the yellow Scarabs. Okay, that makes those Scarabs units gross. We got a +1 to hit here for our Necron Warrior red squad. Mine will be done by Zarek. A really strong way to make this 20-man squad like really hit hard. Where is the Veil Chronomancer? All the way over here. Alright. So as a result, the teleporting guy is all the way over here. Red squad's over here. They're probably not going to meet anytime soon. And the battle really begins at this point. Really quick command phase.
I really do not know that much about Necrons. I'm just seeing all these counters going up. Ugh.
So, the Chronomatron ones are the spicy ones for the 5-up invulnerable save. So those 3 squads, the Scarabs, the other Scarabs, and then the Purple Warriors, are now ridiculously difficult to kill because of that. The other thing that it does is it gives reroll charges. And so as a result, those Scarabs can be a nuisance beyond words. Usually this is paired with stuff like the Relentlessly Expansionist and Eternal Conquerors dynasty traits to give them effectively a good chance to first turn charge and just tie up an entire army turn 1 without much question. Scarabs being flying units with 4 wounds each, and the ability to reanimate is annoying.
Hold on, they fly now?
Oh, they've always flown.
Oh.
Scarab swords have always flown, which makes them super frustrating. And these are going to be difficult screens to remove now, thanks to the 5-up invuln save. Like, they don't need any more support. That's just what the Scarabs get to do now from here until the end of the game, is just be nuisances. Now, their killing power is very low, so they're not going to be killing much. But being Novak, at least it's a little bit higher than what it could be. On the turn that they charge, they'll have a -1 AP and all that stuff. It could do something. The other big thing here is the +1 to hit from My Will Be Done. So Zark is the only person who can do it, and he can do it to 2 different units per turn, so long as they are core. And the only core units that Necrons have in this list are the Warriors. So right now, he can only apply it to Red Squad. Fine. This just gives a blanket +1 to hit until the next command phase, which is extremely strong. Imagine if you had your Chaplain being able to pull that off every turn. Yeah, it'd be real good. So, Rallo, based off of where you see all these Necrons and everything, have you played against Necrons before?
Only once, but it was at like a small 1,000 point event thing. So
Right.
Not really. They're very much strange to me.
Well, if you have any questions, let me know, because that's definitely a topic of conversation. Speaking of topics of conversation, we've got our first protocol. It's the Protocol of the Sudden Storm. So protocols are Necrons' like their battle doctrine, effectively. It's their global army bonus, so long as everything's the same dynasty. And as long as they have a noble on the field, which they do. They do have Zarek the Silent King, and he doesn't break any of the dynastic traits, and so as a result, he can just kind of sit there and be like, yep, this is cool, this is fine. So the first one's the Protocol of the Sudden Storm. You have 2 directives, one which allows +1 to movement, and the other one which is if it's performing an action, you can still attack with ranged weapons without the action failing. Both of those are great. In this case, though, yeah, it's really good. And so long as you're within 6 inches of a character, you get access to that. It doesn't matter if you're a Ghost Ark or a Warrior, you get access to those traits. It's a hugely strong ability, actually. It seems as if, though, they have gone for... Well, they haven't really moved anywhere. And they can't really shoot anything turn 1. So I'm a little confused as to where exactly they're going with this. But it seems as if the Necrons have decided that they're going to put up their banners. So they got raised the banners on all 3 of these squads, no problem. It's going to be 3 points by the end of the turn, so long as the Zephyrim don't just charge whatever, and the Repentia don't, snowball out of control and try charging whatever as well.
Whoa. There's his movement.
That's a 5-inch advance by the look of things from the Necrons. We'll have to see. He's trying to go for engage on all fronts turn 1. A potentially easy throwaway turn as a result. Like, you don't want to throw away your models, but this is certainly one way that could happen.
Yeah. And I know the +2 save there. It's a 5-up invul, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have 1 base?
The Scarabs do have one, but it's like a 6-up save. Their main defense comes to the fact that they have 4 wounds a base, which is for 13 points or 15 points, absolutely disgusting.
It's a lot of wounds.
Yeah. Now, mind you, reanimating them is hard, because for the most part, these models do require at least 4 successful reanimation rolls each to be able to reanimate a base. So either the Scarabs have to roll a lot of 5s and 6s to reanimate here, or they just don't get back up. The more wounds you have, the harder it is to reanimate you, is effectively the point there.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, it means that the Scarabs aren't as oppressive as they could be, but it does mean that they are pretty difficult to deal with. It's mostly just the fact that they have that 5-up invuln now. 5-up invuln with 4 wounds a base makes them really inefficient to attack with, like, bolter fire or whatever. It makes them frustrating to deal with. You don't want to shoot them with multi-meltas, despite the fact that it's effective against that number of wounds. And they are moving into such a position that next turn they could be a huge problem for Doots. Like, if that goes in and wraps up and starts tagging Retributors and Rhinos, that could be a problem.
Yeah, because he doesn't really just have the base melee to be able to deal with them at all.
No. If the Retributors get stuck in combat, they will have to spend a stratagem to fall back and shoot or something like that, I imagine.
Which I'm not sure if they've got one.
I'm not sure either, but I wouldn't put it past them. They're an army that seems to have everything.
I'll double check that one.
I really did try doing my homework, but I didn't have a whole lot of time this weekend, so we don't have a sisters specialist on the cast. Jat, you're gonna have to help us out if you know your sisters better than we do.
I do have their codex, so I can look stuff up.
Hey, that's pretty good. Alright, we got the Miniers moving around to get sight on things. Now, the Miniers are actually pretty strong. They've got something called an Annihilator Beam. It's a 36-inch range with strength 12, AP -4, and a straight flat 6 damage. Like, no roll, no nothing, you just take 6 every time that they shoot one of your things. It is the most damaging weapon in the game on a regular basis, so long as it hits and wounds. The thing I love about them is that it's just these big laser beams coming out of these rocks. The thing that I don't love about them is that the Retributors can probably blast them apart in one turn, given the chance. Now, they seem to be shifting in such ways to see this green rhinoceros down here in the bottom left corner, so as to be able to blow it up. If 2 shots hit and wound, which they probably do, ballistic skill 2, wounding on 2s, yeah, that will be a 1 dead rhino immediately, which will be a huge benefit to the Necrons. Footslogging and Repentia are not very tough to kill.
No, they are not. I mean, they're literally like, the older models are even just flat out completely naked.
Yeah, they've got an invuln save because of their Shield of Faith, and then a 5-up Feel No Pain, and that's it?
Yes. Although it should be noted that the Judith does increase the invul save of all Adeptus units around her by 1.
Yeah.
Up to a maximum of 4.
Which is pretty strong. There's also a, if not a simulacrum, then there's other ways to get that Shield of Faith up to a 4-up save.
Yes. For example, all of the units that are flying, so Zephyrim and Seraphim, have Angelic Visage, so they have a built-in +1 to a max of 4.
So those folks can be extremely durable given the proximity to Judith then, or Junith.
Yes. And there's a couple other ways. Like, there's a Warlord trait that does it, and there's a Relic, and Celestine also does it.
And you know what? Actually, we don't have a Celestine in this list. Why do you think we don't have a Celestine in the list?
That's an excellent question. I know enough about sisters to talk about them. I don't know enough to make those great calls.
Fair
I
enough.
want to say it's probably because of Judith. He's trying to run this theme here, and also Celestine isn't quite what she used to be. You know, she can be very underwhelming when you look.
You
at
can't
her
re-roll the
moves.
resurrection anymore is one thing for sure too.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, in the lore, Karn absolutely ruins her day, and on tabletop, it's like, yeah, no, that's about what would happen.
All right,
She did,
so oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's and also, like, you know, you have to pay for those Gemini Superior now. They don't come with her.
Ah,
And,
good point. Good point.
You know, she also doesn't give rerolls. Is the other thing.
Oh,
Where
that's a
Judith
big deal.
Does. So.
Judith also comes
It's-
with 2 flamers, which can actually do the business if she's tagged in combat.
Exactly.
And the reroll ones to hit and wound are stellar with the Retributors. Speaking of which, the Retributors are trying to get line of sight and shots onto the Meniers, which were only able to put 6 wounds on the Sororitas Rhino down here. Good.
It's not a lot.
I like some good defenses there on the Rhino is helpful. It at least bracketed it so that way the Repentia can't go quite as far as they normally would have. But I'm sure that Zarek was looking more for an actual kill there. That's definitely worth looking at. Dutes is at the start of their turn. So it's the bottom turn one. It's Dutes' chance to move around and make things happen. What do you predict what might happen here, Rallo?
I predict that those Mentiers are probably going to get blown off the field. And if he's bringing out his Repentia. That's
Interesting.
probably just gonna throw him into the Scarabs, which is an odd. Like, I understand it because he probably doesn't want to throw all of his Retributor shots into there.
Yeah. And
try
the Repentia are good at dealing with Scarabs because they have that damage too to the 4 wounds. Mathematically, it makes good sense.
You could try and pile into the Warriors if he can position well enough at
that
for the
might be a
Scarabs.
mistake, though. Like, if they
Should
pile
we-
into the Warriors can pile in since they're Novak and they, Yeah, like, since they're Novak, you can give them a +1 attack. So 20 attacks at strength 4, potentially strength 5, not that they need it. Hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s is pretty good.
That is very good.
Yeah, and although there isn't a Royal Warden in the list, you know, they could easily just fall back and let, you know, the other warriors shoot in, or what have you. There's definitely some play there. We'll have to see what Dutes does here, but it seems like it's going to be a really easy charge into the Scarabs, and the Scarabs could survive. For all the attacks that those Repentia have, there is a Missionary within range that will be able to advance and give them extra attacks. But for all the attacks that those Repentia have, and all the stratagems and everything, to kill only a squad of Scarabs with it is not where you want to be, is my feeling.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, like, the Scarabs are taking a hit, which is exactly why they're in the list, really, is to be out there, be a buffer, and be a nuisance.
The issue is, though, someone's got to get rid of them.
Yeah, and the
So-
Repentia are uniquely suited at it with the damage 2 and all that, that's fair. I can't imagine the Zephyrin putting any dent into there, sadly. With damage 1 and their AP being largely wasted, that's a problem.
Yeah. And I'm not finding anything that lets you fall back and shoot, by the way.
Okay, good to know.
So,
Alright, well in that case then, if those Scarabs do live, it could be a bit of a nuisance. A really passive turn 1 out of the Necrons, and just moving those Scarabs a little bit forward does present the Sisters player with some options to at least try to attack something and get a kill. It also allows the Repentia to move forward and get engaged on all fronts a turn earlier than the Necron player was able to, so that's good too, I guess. Those are all good for scoring points.
something else I could totally see is if he clears these Scarab units, unless the warriors spread out, he could very easily sneak the Infernal Pistol Seraphim to get 2 rounds off on how do you say that?
Zarek.
Sarak. Yeah.
Yeah, it's S and Z immediately after, I guess.
Zarek.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
He could try and get like a good 8 infernal pistol shots off into him if he doesn't screen out correctly.
Yeah, and those could hurt. Zarek is only toughness 7. Mind you, screening shouldn't be a big problem. He's got the Menhirs to kind of push around and stuff. He's got Necron Warriors, which can create massive areas of you can't come near this. And he still has an entire flank that Dutes is not maneuvering against at all yet. He's spending the good chunk of his movement phase just focusing on what to do over here. Oh, and I just realized that Red Squad is close enough to Zarek that Zarek is giving them rerolls to hit in the shoot when they're shooting, and rerolls to wound in them when they're fighting. Yeah, that Red Squad right there is hyper efficient. It's within range of the Ghost Arc to be rezzed and repaired a little bit as well, so... I expect some damage to definitely go into the Necron lines this turn, but I am at a bit of a loss as to figure out what exactly Dutes is thinking here. I would love it if they were talking over TTS right now, because then we could just swap over to them, but as it stands, we're going to have to be commentary-less for this game.
Aw, that's a bummer.
Yeah, unless you want me to hop in and out of this call nonstop, which
Yeah,
does
no,
not sound like fun.
I'm fine with that.
So the Retributors, round 2 are popping up. These ones seem to be aiming towards the Ghost Arc. That's going to be a likely candidate for the Quantum Shielding stratagem, which improves that 5-up invuln save to a 4-up, meaning that those Retributors will be hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, then there's going to be saves on 4s.
So did they change how Quantum Shielding worked?
Yeah. It's now a permanent transhuman and a 5-up invuln save for whatever has it, and you can spend the stratagem to make it a 4-up invuln save, effectively giving 2 50-50 cutoff points, which is pretty brutal, but yeah, those Meltas are pretty good at dealing with them.
That's a lot more. I prefer that compared to the old Quantum Shielding. I hated that thing.
Old Quantum Shielding meant that autocannons and stuff were ridiculously hard to deal with, and that Meltas and Last Cannons literally did nothing.
I was playing, AdMech at the time, so...
Well, AdMech actually probably had a pretty good way of dealing with that with Dacobots, specifically, because damage 1 just did fine.
I ran 3 dune crawlers.
Oh, never mind then. The Icarus arrays might have something to say. That would be good, but
yeah, I ran 2 neutron lasers and an Icarus array because it was fun.
yeah. Well, in this case, the Ghost Arc now is just sitting there like, okay, well, I got toughness 6, but those Meltas are going to be hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s due to Junie, if Junie moves out that way, which it seems to be the case.
Wounded on 3s, re-rolling 1s. Ugh.
It means that you have, like, what, if you've got 8 shots, you're hitting with, like, 6, 7 of them. Then out of those, you're wounding with half of them, so 3 or 4 of them wound. Of those, 2, like, half of those get saved. So you got 2 wounding shots that go through from that one squad. Yeah, the Ghost Arc is probably dead.
Spike. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ghost Arc probably could die here, but it's not a guarantee. And 4-ups can spike either way very easily, so we'll have to see. We got Uzi Style in the chat saying go Dutes. I believe, if I remember correctly, Uzi Style is our Iron Hands player in the last match that we cast, who put up a really good fight against Dutes, but Dutes ended up taking the win there. It was a really good fight, though. Free agent information, thank you very much for the follow. Make sure that you follow the Alpha League Twitch and the YouTube, where we're actually putting up all of our previous games. And make sure that you also go ahead and try to predict who do you think is going to have the most points by the bottom of turn 3 here. Just for everybody's knowledge and know-how, right now this is how the battlefield looks. All those red tokens denote the Chronomatron bonuses, which is a 5-up invuln save. The My Will Be Done is was put onto these Red Reapers. And as far as secondaries go, you can go ahead and read them off of the sideboard there. But we've got Raise the Banners and Engage in all fronts for both armies. Duke's going for Bring It Down. And we've got Assassinate here for the Necrons. So Necrons wanting to kill the characters. The Sisters here wanting to kill the vehicles. And of which there's 9 points on the board. So being pre-FAQ, this is actually a big benefit to them. Post-FAQ, that would not be a good pick at all. So, after a pretty lengthy process of figuring out what Dutes was going to do over on this left flank, we seem to be moving over to the right flank. Dutes is measuring out where those Scarabs could go. They do have a effective 22-inch threat range, since they can move 10 and then subsequently charge afterwards with a rerollable Chronomatron. Powerful stuff, to say the least.
For the Miracle Dice, is this a 1 or is this a 6?
That is a 1 and that is a 3 so far for the Miracle Dice. So not great Miracle Dice, sadly.
Okay,
1's good for morale, but the 3 is only good for a armor save that they're probably never going to easily have on a 3.
Yeah. You could use it to secure a damage roll or something, just to like make sure you don't roll low.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. And it's not like a 3 is awful. Like, if you ever get shot by the Gauss Flare arrays, then you're still ignoring the -1 to hit on the units that really need it, the Retributors. And as for the Repentia, like, they don't have a save outside of their 6-up invulnerable save. 5-up, as long as Junie's within range. Yeah, they probably don't care that much. In that case, about the 3, but the 3 is useful for those Retributors against all the Daka that the Ghost Arcs can put out, which is quite a lot, actually. If you haven't thought about it, it turns out that 20 bolt rifle shots from one vehicle can actually do some work. And it's a relatively cheap vehicle, too. For something with permanent transhuman and a 5-up invuln save, 145 points is not bad. It also repairs Necrons and does a pretty good job of it. I like them.
This is a lot better than what they were. That is neat.
Mm-hmm. I actually prefer them over Doomsday Arcs and everything else too now for my vehicle choices, but that might just be a me thing. Okay, we got the Sisters of Battle moving out into this bottom right objective now. Here to take it. Start raising some banners on it, as seems to be the case all the way over here as well. So everybody's got 3 banners up. The question is, can the Repentia knock off the banners off of the Necrons in time? I'm not so sure, and we'll see what the command protocols are for the Necrons given the chance, because there are a lot of them, and Kellen does have quite a lot of control over them thanks to Sarek being his warlord.
Do we know what this is? Is he?
Well, I'm not sure what those yellow Retributors are thinking about, trying to shoot through all that obscuring terrain to get to Sarek. Sarek is an obscurable character, as it's only 16 wounds. So you can't just see Zarek through the walls.
Man, why couldn't they just give him 2 more?
Because then he'd be completely useless, like a monolith. Mind you, we do have some Retributors going into the Miniers, and they are part of the same unit, so those Retributors will be able to shoot Zarek and potentially do quite a lot of damage. If they don't kill him, he does have access to living metal, the ability to move around quite quickly, that kind of stuff. But I think this might have been a blunder, putting Zarek on this side of the battlefield. I might have put him more centrally myself. Why do you think? Why do you think it would have been a decent idea to put him on the flank here?
I'm not entirely sure. It's one thing, he gets to take these men here, and he gets to directly affect this flank, and the other one kind of just the other flank of the sisters feels like they're out of position. But I agree about it. It should have been more centrally placed, because where it is, just getting around this corner isn't that hard. It's not that difficult. He could be potentially sniped out. How many points is Sarek?
450. And yes, Uzistal Raulo is my co-caster today.
Yo. Yeah, I also don't really agree with this flank choice. It's strange, and I'm curious what his thinking was here.
Yeah, me too. It'll be interesting to see what he says post game. But Sarek is a very powerful character that's popped up in a couple of different competitive Necron lists. For those of you that are paying attention and like to do some list building around Necrons, you'll probably know that Richard Siegler, one of the better Necron players at the moment. Oh, there we go. There goes one of them.
There's one.
There goes one. Yeah, not too hard to do. It's not like the Meniers themselves have anything better than a 4-up invuln, and they are fairly easy to kill. But yeah, Richard Siegler has been a huge proponent of the Silent King, and there goes a Cherub, so they're shooting again. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. It seems to be 2 hits. 2 wounds. Looking for 4-up invulns. Nope. Damage. Oh, no, re-rolls it. Doesn't quite get it, sadly. So now we're rolling for damage. The first one only does 1 or 2, I imagine, with the extra damage. Is he going to spend the CP? Yep, CP re-roll here. That's going to do enough damage to take out the Menhir, and now the rest of the damage is going straight into Zarek himself. Not what you want turn 1 to have happen to your poor, poor rocks. He's contemplating using the Miracle Dice.
That's I was wondering if he was going to do that.
No, he's going to roll instead. It ended up being about the same. So that's going to be a decent amount of damage right there. 4 damage. 3 plus the 1 from the stratagem. Yep. And then at this point, could he shoot again with the Cherub? They're looking for lines of sight. And for what I can tell, there seems to be a pretty relatively clear line. But let's go ahead and just take a look down from the perspective of the model shooting.
I think, no. I maybe 1, but I don't even think they have true line of sight in order to do
I don't think so either. In hindsight, I'm looking at this right now, and it is very difficult to see. There is a line from the edge of the base to the edge of the base, but dang.
I agree with that, but there is no true line of sight for her, I don't think.
Not that I could see anyway. Let's go ahead and try checking out from behind. Not so near the crates. It's always tough to tell, sadly, with TTS. Technically, I can see that model's base. So I imagine that there's definitely a chance that we see Sarek taking another hit here from... Yep, there it goes. It's a fail. So we're going to see some damage pop out this time. It's just the 2. Alright, so Sarek is going to live this turn. And is going to have access to living metal. So that's going to go up another at least 1 wound.
That would have been hilarious if this one unit of Retributors managed to just spike him out.
It was entirely possible. I imagine that
had 6 miracle, like 6s on his miracle dice for damage.
Oh, he'd be down to 4 right now, but he wouldn't have died based off of that. So we got a hit, we've got a wound. He's rolling the dice now. Has he spent a CP for anything here? Oh, didn't matter. That's an invuln save, no problem. And now we got the rest of them coming in. Rerolling the 1s because Junie said so. Wounding on 4s. Rerolling the 1s because Junie said so. Or not. I'm not sure exactly where this is going.
No.
It's a little hard to tell.
This might be into the scarabs, maybe.
It killed one scarab then. Yep. And now kill another scarab. And now kill another scarab. So, or no, actually only damages one more scarab. So the scarabs, out of all that Retributor shooting, 2 scarabs died. Which means we got some reanimation rolls to make here. It's not likely one comes back unless this goes... Whoa! One comes back from the dead. So that wounded one for 3 wounds and killed 1 scarab. Which can then pop up where it wants, effectively, within range. Not the most efficient Retributor shooting you've ever seen.
No.
But the Repentia will probably put in the dent that Dudes is looking for here. It's just that, yeah, Retributor shooting into Scarabs is not where you want to put it. You don't want to put the Retributor shooting into the Warriors. You don't really want to shoot anything with those Retributors other than Zark and potentially the Ghost Arcs.
Yeah, I'd say the Ghost Arcs.
Mm-hmm.
You got nothing else to shoot at.
Alright, so we got Smoke Beam popped on the Rhino here. Smoke Beam popped on this Rhino. Smoke Beam probably popped on the Red Rhino if it needs it, which it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and the Red Rhino's there effectively just to say, hey, if you come near me, I've got a squad of Repentia just waiting to come out and say hi.
Exactly.
There's not much of a chance of, you know, the Rhino actually moving from this position for the majority of the game. Alright, so now we're looking at a charge distance here. It's a very easy 6-inch charge. We'll have to see whether or not this actually goes through for Doots. Uzi Styles rooting. And will Miracle Dice, gets a Miracle Dice for...
Cause he, well,
he hasn't killed a unit.
No, cause, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, so he doesn't get those Miracle Dice. He's just going to make the charge or try to. A 3-inch charge won't be enough to make it, so he's going to spend the CP to re-roll that. And a 4-inch charge isn't going to make it either. That's a problem. The Missionary is now kind of out in the open here against a bunch of Scarabs. That's a big issue for Doots and is going to potentially cost him another, like, 3 points for Assassinate. That Repentia squad for nothing. Yeah, ouch. That's a big ouch. Yeah, those Scarab swarms surviving as well as they did means that this is going to be a very brutal turn here.
That was actually something I was thinking earlier when he popped out the Repentia. They have a 1 CP strat that lets them advance and charge. And so I was sitting there thinking, like, I would rather advance them and spend the 1 CP there.
Uh-oh. Alright, so here's going to be a strong turn. We got Protocol of the Hungry Void, probably going for Directive 2. So the Directive 1, every time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, unmodified 6s improve the armor penetration of the attack by 1. So, because the vast majority of the army is Novak, they already get that. Getting an AP -2 is pretty cute sometimes, but isn't necessary here. Directive 2 is the really big one. Anytime that a model makes a melee attack, after they've made a charge move, were charged or performed heroic advantage, they get +1 to their strength. So right now, these Novak Necrons, like the Warriors, can go up to strength 6 with the stratagem. The Scarabs go up to strength 4 on the turn that they charge. Yup, this could be nasty. If these Scarabs go in, they might not do a whole lot of damage, but they're going to probably tie up at least 1 Retributor squad. The Necron shooting should probably eliminate the Repentia easily enough. There should be an easy assassinate onto this priest would be my, to the missionary would be my guess. Not great. It also pushes out a huge screen, making the Zephyrim and the Seraphim, the Seraphim specifically, have a very hard time deep striking into places where they want to go, i.e. Infernal Pistols into Zark. They need to be within 6 inches, or within a certain amount of range from deep strike to be able to make that happen.
They only need to be within 3, because you can give them +3 inch range whenever they drop.
So, like, on the turn that they drop, like, you can go ahead and spend a stratagem, probably drop a little bit closer and do all that stuff. But, yeah, the Necron Warriors, the Scarabs pushing out, all that stuff is going to make that very difficult. My Will Be Done has been put back onto the big squad of Necron Warriors here in the middle. We've got Chronometrons being put on the purple and white squads as well. Now, the other Chronometron seems to have been put onto Necron Warriors again, so he's kind of letting the Scarabs do their thing this turn, I'm thinking. He was definitely within range to put the 5-up Chronometron onto them, though, and I would expect that to be actually the case, since the Necron Warriors don't really need the invuln save. If they're being shot by anything that requires an invuln save at this point, I'd be surprised. brutally bad luck though on those Sisters Repentia. That's not what you wanted to see.
A 6 on 2 dice twice failing sucks.
Mm-hmm. And it does not help right now that there are a bunch of Necron Warriors. They're well within their... Yep, there we go. So the Chronometron was put onto the Scarabs to make them even more durable. But the Necron Warriors are well within range to put in the hurt where they need to this turn. They can see the Repentia. Zarek still has 11 wounds and still on his top bracket. He can see the Retributors and does have some decent number of attacks himself at range. The Staff of Stars might not be the thing to necessarily get all the kills, but it is Assault 9. It's Strength 6, AP -2, 1 damage, which is pretty good. It is actually perfect if it weren't for the Simulacrum that's in that squad right there. And then there's also the Scepter of Eternal Glory that can shoot at range as well, which is quite a lot. AP -3, so that bypasses all the armor and everything. I expect some Dead Retributors as well on that side, if they're not tagged. Yeah, the Zarek over here is going to be good. We've got the other flank now where Kellen Feller can go ahead and try to actually put some pressure as well, if need be, but they don't have to. They're holding this objective relatively well. The only place where the army really needs to be and put some pressure right now is on this side with Junie and the Retributors. If this flank crumples a little bit, the Necrons will be quite happy to take their Assassinate points, the Raise the Banners points, and everything else that they got going on. The Necron Warriors will be able to advance largely unimpugned if they aren't dealt with by Repentia and soon. Yikes. That's all I can say about this right now. It's not where you want to be.
No, it's not.
Alright, the Chronomaster is now within range to do some shooting as well. The Ghost Arc in range to do some rapid-fire shooting into the Sisters Repentia too. We got the Blue Necron Warrior Squad sitting here in the back, kind of screening out and everything. And it seems as if our Necron player is currently pre-measuring and seeing where the Repentia could potentially go, whether or not he wants to push forward on this right flank. Rallo, I know you haven't played against Necrons much, but if you're going up against a list like this, as our Sisters player, do you think right now that... where do you think you would need to put your forces now at this point? After failing that charge, what are your options?
It's oof. Well, your options are you can either go all in and try and respond to this flank, or you can just try and use, because the whole big thing is, you have these 2 rhinos with this Repentia loadout, but he doesn't really have the forces on the other side of the board to take this flank with this Ghost Arc and his full Scarab and Necron Warriors, which it's very unfortunate considering his secondaries as well. He really just has to make sure that this doesn't fall, which with all of these warriors is, ooh gosh, this is only getting worse.
So this is the Veil of Darkness being popped. One of the Chronomasters comes with the Veil of Darkness. This allows the character and 1 core unit to effectively redeploy. So long as the core unit is wholly within 6 inches of the character with the Veil, they can redeploy anywhere as if they were deep striking, which is an extremely strong ability. In this particular case, they seem to be angling to do some real damage to this Rhino, which is wholly possible. These Gauss Reapers are Strength 5, which means that they are wounding on 5s at AP -2 for 1 damage each. That doesn't seem like a lot, but with one of the stratagems, if you hit on a 6, you automatically wound as well. That's 40 shots right now, as long as they're angled properly.
That's probably a dead Rhino.
Probably. But it is worth remembering that the Veil can only... This is some very janky deployment. I'm not sure where this Chronomaster is going to go, so that way everything's wholly within 6 inches. But that is an important part of the Veil. I'm thinking I might just... Oh, no, they remembered. Okay, good. So he has to put the Chronomaster somewhere, so that way every part of the unit is wholly within 6. There we go. He's maneuvering it. Yeah, okay. So he's making some sacrifices just to make sure that everything's there. Cool. The other thing that this Chronomancer has is the Metallodemic Tesla Weave. If anything comes within charge range of it, like within 6 inches after the end of their charge phase, he rolls a dice on a 2+, they take mortal wounds. So he's also helping to protect this warrior squad from the Repentia by going, hey, sure, you can charge me, but then you'll probably lose a couple of people on the way in. Not just from Overwatch, either.
Oh, gosh. I'm the sister player. I'm thinking, wow, I'm in a pickle right now.
Yeah, the other thing is if this Rhino blows up, these Necron Warriors are more than capable of charging them and killing them in one go. They're re-rolling charges. They are more than... They can also even steal this objective, which would be really, really nasty, because that's 20 bodies. No matter how much OBSEC you got, 20 bodies is hard to beat. They are also OBSEC. Ghost Arc moving forward, so that way it's within range of the Necron Warriors if it needs to. Repair some of them. It also... Excuse me, can also put out its own firepower. But this does leave that flank a little bit barren now. There's potential for somebody to come in and try to remove the Scarabs off of the objective. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case, though.
There's not too many things that can.
True. I imagine the Seraphim's Hand Flamers could do a number, but yeah. It seems
a lot
as
of
if...
wounds to get through.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Seraphim are... Oh, sorry, the Sisters in general are in this list. It does have the tools to deal with this kind of list, but the Silver Tide is definitely a difficult list to deal with. I think that it's one of those lists that if you've got answers to it, it just crumples immediately. But if you don't, then it runs you over pretty easily as well. Yeah.
I think that's the big struggle. If I'm the Sister player right now, I'm thinking, I do not have anti-horde loadouts here. I don't. Like, my multi-meltas are the best things to kill these Scarabs. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah, and then the Repentia are the only thing that can really take out these warriors, but that one charge kind of failing meant that the warriors could break out and start blasting, and start charging and killing and repositioning themselves. The one thing I am worried about is Zarek's survival. If this white group of Retributors does survive till the beginning of Dutz' turn and does not get tagged, then Zarek is probably toast.
I mean, even if they do die, I can see this Seraphim Infernal Pistol Squad fitting in the corner over here.
Yeah,
and just
but
sniping him anyway.
Mind you, that's
like,
only 4 Inferno Pistol shots. 3 of them hit.
8 shots. It's
8 shots? Okay, so of those 8 shots, you have what? 6 that hit. Of those 4 wound. Of those 2 actually go through. Unless if that's boxcars in terms of the damage roll, that Zarek lives at that point still.
Okay.
So it's still really on a knife's edge, though. It could go either way. I see your point, though.
But yeah, so Seraphim can come down, shoot when they come down, and they can also then shoot following phase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, we got ranges being measured here by Kellen Feller. Just seeing who can shoot what and where. Seems as if the first row of Necron Warriors might be going into the yellow Retributors. And then past that, you know, I wouldn't see them. I would say that it's well within his rights to try to shoot the Sisters Repentia and kill them. So he's shooting those yellow Retributors first. Wounding on 3, so it's only 3 on the Retributors. Mind you, they... I think they ignore all the AP as long as they're within range of everybody that they need to be.
It's only 1 AP. Is that what the AP of these are?
No, it's AP 2.
Oh, then they do not ignore.
He does manage to kill 2 of them. Do they come back and try to shoot him in the face before they go? Oh, no, only 1 does. No, he should be in range, because he's got the... oh, where is she? They got the Imagifier right here, and their Order of our Martyred Lady. So they are well within range of that, but nope, seems to have removed the 2 in different areas, sorry. The rest of them going somewhere else. It's a lot of 2s to hit there, which is really, really good. Alright, it's a lot of saves they have to make. That's a lot of 6s to save with, though. Those Repentia might live. Okay, that's 8 dead.
Yeah, another. There's 1.
There's 1 left alive, which
does
is...
have a 1 on the Miracle Dice.
Yeah, which is... But that's the thing. I actually would rather that Repentia have died, almost. Because that's a really easy target to say, I'm going to charge that with the Scarabs. Okay, Zarek now going to shoot into the White Retributor squad here. It's got the Scythe of Eternal Glory. Hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. That's 2 wounds, AP -3, so they need 6-up invuln saves at this point to be able to keep alive. He's going to use a Miracle... I'm confused.
I'm not entirely sure myself.
Yeah, I wish we could hear. But that's going to end up being 2 dead Retributors. That's the Retributor with the Simulacrum and the Sister Superior gone, so that's the leadership bonus. That also leaves some interesting issues for Coherency, because there's this one over here with a multi-melted that needs to be taken away. Yeah, there we go. So that's one multi-melted down. Now this Retributor is only slightly out of range of their friends, which is odd. Okay, now the Scythe of Dust, I believe it is, or the Sun of, or Staff of Stars. Yeah, there we go. So this should be saving on everything but 2s, effectively. Okay. It's only AP minus 2. Oh, dearie me. So that's another 3 gone. The Retributor Superior is also gone. That's the white squad removed. And with the yellow squad tagged, the other squad of Retributors is on the other side of the map. Zarek, unless if it gets Infernal Pistol to death, will live. We've got the Chronomancer's staff going into this now. Nope, never mind. That's the Ghost Ark's Gauss Flare going into the last of the yellow Retributors over here. These should be saving on 6s and then ignoring on 5s. Except for saving on 5s because the Shield of Faith said so. Oof, not good saves there. And sadly, that's going to be the end of that squad. Or at least the end of one of them, because I think they're ignoring the AP minus 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got there in the end, folks. Now we got the Chronomaster. These guys should have an Entropic Lance. That's the only really good item on these folks. You can give them another staff that's like damage 1, shoots 3 times, and ignores invulnerable saves. But compared to a Strength 8 AP minus 3, 3 plus D3 damage staff, it's not much of a contest.
You missed anyway.
Yeah.
Also, you were saying the whole Imagifier 4+ like shoot back. That's not a thing.
Yeah, I thought the Order of our Martyr Lady had access to I fire back on. Like on a certain roll, but alright, that's on me then. Alright, now we got the Gauss Reapers coming in for the purple squad. Seemingly going into the Rhinos. There are still 13 command points here for this Necron player. At this point, you could easily burn it to get the auto wound on 6s to hit, which would be solid. We'll see whether or not that ends up being the case. It seems not to be. Oh, never mind. That exactly seems to be the case. Never mind. So that's a lot of 15 saves here for this Rhino. And that's a... Oh, that's dead, but does not explode. Okay. So the reason why there aren't exploding 6s here... oh, it's a right that you can choose instead of the exploding 6s. I see. Thank you, Uzi style. Alright, that's good to know. So at this point, the Necron Warriors did end up using the 6s to hit equals a wound trick on the Rhino. The Rhino did go down, just... the -1 to hit did impact them a little bit, but not by enough to stop the Rhino from going up in smoke. The Repentia are now quite a bit further back. One of them has died, trying to exit. And now, we're measuring to see whether or not they can be seen by the Gauss Flux arcs. They can be. Mind you, they're outside of half range, so they'll be only 10 shots this time, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. That's going to be all wounds. Now, these need 6 ups followed by 5 ups to be alive. Okay, so 1 lives from saves. These are only damage 1 each. Oh no, that's 5 Repentia dead already. That's not what you want to see. So the Repentia right now are down to 1 squad sitting in a Rhino, 1 squad at 3, and then the other squad has been wiped down to 1 model left remaining on the left side. Charge phase. Alright, this is going to be decisive if this goes through. The Scarabs are obviously charging into something here. They'll probably charge the Missionary, the Sister Repentia, the Rhino, and the Retributors. And they might as well charge Junie just so that way they don't have to get, like, heroically intervened into, unless if they go just hard left. Possible. The Necron Warriors could also make an easy charge into the Missionary and the Sisters Repentia, though that might make the Chronomancer a bit too easy of a target. Let's see. 5 should get them in. Yeah, it does. Okay, great.
Also, I noticed that the Imagifier actually has the Warlord trait for +1 to invul saves. So all of those sisters in that corner over there had a 4+ invul save.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, so the charge is made. Novak gets a +1 to their charge ranges. That's one of their dynasty traits. So that 5 turns into a 6, which allowed them to get in on the Sister Repentia. And that's going to be a lot of angry warriors that are capable of doing 2 attacks apiece for 1 CP. At strength 5 for free and strength 6 for a CP. Hitting on 2s right now, thanks to My Will Be Done, since that applies to all hit rolls, not just shooting or fighting. I have a feeling the Missionary and the Repentia are dead. In addition, on 6s to wound, these Novak Warriors are going to be also at -1 AP, which will be enough to put this missionary onto no save, except for he does have a Rosarius, so he does have that 4-up invuln, not that it matters in this particular case. So the Warriors are going in, effectively trying to create the screen that they need to keep this Chronomancer friend of theirs alive, and moving in such a way as to get Zarek within range, so that way they are re-rolling wound rolls in the fight phase. Gonna be brutal. Now we're seeing about the Scarabs, I believe. Being able to tag the Rhino and the Retributors with the Scarabs right now, I think, is of utmost importance.
And I'm assuming he's just going to be able to flat out kill those Retributors.
Not necessarily. Scarabs are actually pretty bad in combat. They do auto wound on 6s to hit, but it's at strength 4 in this case on the charge because of the command protocols, which they're out of range of, so they don't even get that right now. So they'll be at strength 3, AP
So
minus nothing.
Wounding on 4s. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, it's not going to be awful, but it's hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s. 6s to hit automatically wound, and because they're Novak, 6s to wound also count as AP -1, which they ignore. So they could kill the Retributors. It should be likely, but it's not a guarantee. It seems as if there's been some Overwatch in return. Charge range, 7 inches, easily done. Now, these Scarabs, unlike Scarabs in other dynasties, which go for the relentlessly expansionist trait and the Eternal Conqueror's traits, these ones do not have OBSEC. So they aren't stealing the objective yet. I believe that the Battle Sisters are in range.
They definitely are, yeah.
Yeah, but with a quick pile-in for the Necron Warriors, the OBSEC might be removed, and at which point that is a lot of Scarab models that are on that objective. He could steal the objective and rip down the banner at the same time.
Which would basically spell defeat for our poor sister player here.
It would be pretty brutal. There would be a counter charge from the Repentia, but then at that point the Repentia are out in the open against quite a lot of firepower, with the Retributors being effectively taken out of the action this turn. That could be nasty. 7-inch charge. It's a rollable charge, though. He's just looking for an 8. Boxcars will do it. The Purple Warriors get to go far. Not what you wanted.
Bye-bye that objective.
Yeah, so that objective will be taken by the Purple Squad. That's going to be at least another banner ripped down for sure. Potentially 2 banners, depending on how these Necron Warriors decide to pile out and do everything. Now, as long as they stay within range of Sarek, which is kind of important, they will get rerolls to hit. If they are charged and they decide to Overwatch, which, I mean, the Necrons have the CP to do. And the school, like, this is going to be pretty brutal. We'll go ahead and update the scores after this phase. This has been a very quick, very brutal game so far. And to be clear, by the way, that 12-inch charge range is actually 13 inches, lucky for some, because of the fact that they are Novak Warriors and they get a +1 to their charge distance.
Wow, that's just rude.
It's really, really good. So now they're currently maneuvering in such a way as to keep the Chronomancer within range. So with the Chronomancer and within range of the Ghost Arc and the Chronomancer. So the Chronomancer is not targetable by the Retributors on that side. They're staying within range of the Ghost Arc, so that way they can go ahead and be repaired at the start of the command phase. Yeah, so now we're in the fight phase. Let's see where they start. The Sisters do have the ability to interrupt, not that I'm sure where they'd want to. Junie could do some damage to these Scarabs, but I don't think it's
not really
the priority.
worth it.
Yeah, the priority right now is, can the Necron Warriors pile in, kill the Missionary and the Repentia, get 3 points for Assassinate, killing off the Repentia and then tagging the Rhino, and also movement blocking and score, like, effectively just completely cleansing this area of anything, and of anything that could really stop them. Because at this point,
I think what you said earlier is very true. It's like, if you have the right list, this can crumble, but...
Effectively, does your list have Inceptors? Then, 5 to 6 Inceptors, I think, just kills a Warrior squad with the Chronometron on odds. Like, it just outright, so that way they don't get reanimation. But if you don't have something that's capable of doing that many, attacks or that many mortal wounds, Tzeentch Flamers, in my experience, have also been extremely brutal for me to have to deal with. He's going to have to maneuver his models around a little bit more differently if he wants to get everybody within range. Yeah, there. Oh, no, everybody needs to be within 2 inches. This coherency issue. There we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at their dice. So, yeah, Tzeentch Flamers with the Immortal Wound strat can do it. Inceptors can do it. There's a couple of other things in the game that can wipe out 20 warriors in one go. But if you don't have one of those in your list, then a Necron list like this will absolutely cause you some damage. The other thing you can do is honestly just do good enough chip damage with good blast weapons. Imperial Guard actually have some pretty good things to say about that. Even like basic battle cannons can do some work against Necron Warriors. So, or they can. Oh, Bulgrin are actually great for dealing with warriors too. They'll be swamped forever, but the Bulgrin are okay with it.
Hmm?
Alright, so we got some rolling happening here. We got 6 attacks. I believe that this is what's capable of going into the missionary. So you're hitting on 2s. Now these are wounding on 3s or 2s, re-rolling any failed wounds because it's Zarek. Saves. It's gonna... Oh, the Repentia is dead. Okay, so that was going into the Repentia. Everything else is going into the missionary at this point. That was just 3 models going into the Repentia then.
That is a miracle dice, though.
Yeah, that is a miracle dice because the unit has been wiped. And yeah, the CP has been spent. I believe that that's to give an additional strength to the unit, so that way they're strength 6, dealing with toughness 3, so they're now wounding on 2s, re-rolling, which makes it a little bit more efficient. Re-rolling. Oh, it's 3s re-rolling. Okay, cool.
Okay, I didn't think it was...
And the missionary is toast. That's going to be 3 points for Assassinate here for our Necron player. And now there'll be an easy Consolidate. It's also going to be Engage in all fronts for a full 3 points. Yikes! Now, what's going to be important is whether or not he can pile in far enough to be able to remove the benefits of OBSEC from this objective. If that is indeed the choice that they decide to make. Kellen could do that. There seems to be an interrupt. Yep, down to 1 CP, so there's an interrupt. No wounds, I think. Unless... Oh, no, that's Judy. Judy does manage to deal 6 damage effectively. Or 3d3 damage, I think it is. That's 6 damage, so that kills 1 Scarab base. And I'll kill 2 Scarab bases. Because... Oh, no. No. Because living metal exists, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, reanimation roll... No, the Scarab base is now actually properly dead. So, an interruption kills 1 Scarab base. Not sure how that worked out. We'll have to see.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that.
I might not have done that too. But it seems as if our Necron player has decided to leave the warriors where they are. Has not done any piling or consolidations. Is now trying to work on the scarabs. This is top of turn 2, by the way, folks, in case if you're wondering. For the finals of Alpha League Group 2. Whoever wins this goes on to the grand finals, where they're going to be facing off against Lockjaw and his AdMech list. Okay, so that many wounds. AP -1 on a couple of them. Not that it matters. Roll on each save individually. Needs 3s and higher to save here. Oh, 1 goes down. That's 1 Retributor, I believe, down and out. The Hospitaller can get 1 back too. It's worth mentioning, but
Yeah. Hey, I got a Retributor back. Now what?
yeah, like the problem is that they've been tagged. What needs to happen here is that both the Necron Warrior Squad and the Scarab Squad need to be dealt with this turn. If they are not dealt with properly, then this flank will crumple almost entirely under the weight of just an incredible amount of extremely durable troops.
I think both flanks have basically already crumpled. Like, this is very... He is getting steamrolled here. Like,
and the
ouch.
Inquisitor takes almost enough damage to die out immediately. It's down to 1.
Oof.
And now he's moving on to the Purple Warrior Squad. Piling in, seeing if they can't remove the tag the Retributors. There we go. So those Retributors are now out for the count as well. The only thing left in the Sisters list that will be able to shoot Zarek and potentially kill it are the Inferno Pistols. And they could kill him. They also could not. And if they don't kill him, he will kill them in return.
Yeah.
It would probably take both Squad of Seraphim to do it. If he brings in both Squad of Seraphim and goes for the Flamer strats and everything, then yeah, maybe. But there's only 1 CP left on Dutz' side of the field right now. It's a bit tight for CP. Okay, so the Purple Warriors now are piling in as far as they can to get within range of these Battle Sisters, potentially removing them. If they are removed, then there's no more OBSEC on this side of the field, really, to stop these Warriors from just holding the objective and potentially positioning themselves in such a way as to hold more. Giving them a full 15 points in the primary, and removing actually a good 5 points from the primary from the Sisters, as they are only barely holding on to this one objective here, I believe, so long as this Sister's within range, which I'm actually not sure. My measuring eyeball says maybe not. This could be like a 5-point primary or a 0-point primary turn, depending on all the measurements that are going on right now.
My money. Nice that we do a poll. 0 primary.
Yeah, that would be brutal. A 0 primary turn here could spell a serious trouble for the Sisters. Vortexus says, "Go Necrons. Their thoughtery has no effect on the robotic killing machines." Yikes. But thank you for the follow. The Sisters of Battle are here for themselves, okay? It's just that they couldn't quite kill Zarek, and now the Necrons are just running them roughshod with a bunch of Novak warriors. It's pretty brutal. We got some rolls coming out of Dutes right now, managing to wound some Necrons. 1, 2. Okay, so the D3 weapon was coming from the Inquisitor himself. With the Force Sword, that was Junie's attacks at long last, because that's, I believe, flat damage 2 or 3 with her Scepter of super smiting. Mind you, the Canoness of Many Slayings hasn't come out yet. Oh, one of the Scarabases gets back up. That's twice that's happened now. Not where you want to be. And that thing can spawn pretty much anywhere it wants to. But, going to the store when I get back, Dudes better have cleared purple and red squad. Yeah, that's the big hope here for Dudes. Anybody rooting for Dudes has to effectively root for this Sororitas squad and the Zephyrim squad to come out and wipe out both of those squads. And the Yellow Scarab squad. Otherwise, it's going to be a really nasty turn for them. It's already going to be. But if they can manage to do the 3 big wipes that they need to, at that point...
I mean, if he does that, wow. Like...
Yeah, at that point, Dutes has what they're looking for. But Dutes definitely needs a really good turn 2 here to really make sure that they've got a strong turn 5. The Retributors are either dead or tagged at the moment. I'm not sure if Zarek can be toasted by them. However, they do have enough Seraphim with Inferno Pistols that they could do it. So, Uze style, we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Fallback and shoot, charge. So they do have a fallback, shoot, and charge. Mind you, it will be a maximum of 2 Retributors that are capable of doing it, with the Hospitaller resurrecting one of them.
I saw the fallback and charge one. I couldn't find a fallback and shoot one. Is it the same one?
Probably.
Am I blind?
Yeah, I thought they had the tool. I'm pretty sure it was used, actually. A couple of saves here. 1 warrior, I believe, goes down. Dudes is trying their very best to fight back right now. So 1 wound. Needs a, I believe, a 4 to save. Yep, it's 2 saves unless there's an AP -1 attached to that, which I don't think there is. So the Purple Warriors have torn down a banner and taken the objective. It's onto morale. Really, it's just a point of rolling morale to see whether or not people run away or anything else like that. The Sisters Repentia, the 3 of them here aren't going to be able to do very much this turn, but they could be of some help, so we'll see what happens. 2, whatever was being rolled for there probably passed. There are a couple of 1s here that could be used for morale. So if there's something that desperately needs to survive morale, there was definitely the option to do that. It seems as if that's been okay, though. And we move on to Dutes' turn. So this is the bottom of turn 2 right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the points. For a hold, 2 hold, 3 hold more. Right now, Dutes is holding 2 at most. Yeah, there we go. We got Raise the Banners for 1. Right now, it's not looking super great. We've got our first contender here, Kellen F., currently looking at a 29 points to our Dutes looking at 20 points. If you are in Dutes' position, Rallo, what are your priorities this turn? I know I've talked about them a couple of times, but what do you think?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's not an easy turn, is it?
No, this is a lot of priorities. You definitely gotta have to get these Seraphim in, and you've gotta, oh, gosh.
There's 1 Repentia squad left, 1 Retributor squad that's tagged left. There's actually a second Retributor squad that's also tagged. So you can only manage to fall back and shoot with one of those two.
Yeah, I still can't find that stratagem, so I don't know.
It's pretty
Whatever.
incredible.
I'm just trying to figure it out, because you know the Zephyrim are right here, and the Sister Repentia are all right here. Together, I think they could easily wipe this purple squad.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. But he can also, it's like, does he want to go for the purple squad, or does he want to hit the red one with that? Because
Yeah.
the ability to take out both isn't really there. I think I would send both of those squads towards the purple just to ensure that death, and also because, you know, he still has like this full health Retributor unit over here.
Yeah, it's also worth
And
mentioning
there's-
that full health Retributor unit, there's 2 CP left in Dutz' pile of CP, which means that really there's only like 1, maybe 2 stratagems that Dutz is going to use this turn. So if fall back and shoot is one of them, then how much CP does he have left? Probably none.
Nope, I found it. Yeah, that's a 2 CP strat.
Yeah, so if he's going to fall back and shoot, is Purple Squad really the one to do it?
No.
I don't think so,
really.
because like, what are they going to shoot? The Ghost Arc? Maybe? The Repentia are moving up. It looks like they're going to try to go for a charge onto the Chronomaster. It's going to require moving around and everything. That's probably like a 10-inch, 9-inch charge at the very least. So not exceptionally likely.
Could happen though.
It's possible. I mean, we saw boxcars being rolled for the Necron Warriors earlier. Zephyrim being moved towards purple side here.
And you know, strength 4 re-rolling wounds, not bad.
Yeah, it's just a shame that strength 4 rerolling wounds at AP -3, and the AP -3 being largely relegated to barely mattering at all because of the Chronomatron. If they don't wipe the squad, then they also have a chance of coming back. Like, they can go ahead and pull themselves out of combat and then respawn further back. I'm not sure if Zephyrim have the number of attacks needed. I think that they have a stratagem to get +1 more attack, but
Maybe.
they also, I know that since their Order of Bloody Rose, when they charge, they get an additional attack, right? So
Yeah, so it'll be 4 attacks on the sergeant, and then 3 attacks on everyone else.
yeah, there's 8 of them total. So that's 24, 25 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s.
Re-rolling a wound though.
Rerolling a wound means effectively you got 75% wound rate there, right? So if these boys are hitting on, if these ladies are hitting on 3s, with 25 attacks, you're probably looking at like 17, 18 hits. Of those, 75% wound, you're still less than 20.
It's
Now here's the big thing. There is also the Canoness of with the Sword of Many Slayings.
The Canoness also grants re-roll ones to hit. So.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So that'll make the hits a little bit better too. We're probably looking at like 20 to 21 hits.
The Order of Bloody Rose stratagem is 1 CP. You can add 1 to the wound roll.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going from 4s to 3s. So the Zephyrim is starting to look like they could potentially do the money here. Mind you, you hit like 22 times because of reroll ones, 20 times maybe. You wound on 3s, so suddenly you're wounding 3/4 of the time. On 2/3 of the time. So you get like 14 to 16 wounds. Then they're saving on 5, so a third of those just whoosh. So you kill 10. Out of those 10, 3 or 4 of them reanimate. And then next turn another D3 come back. They can do some shooting. There's still Scarabs backing them up, so if these Zephyrim go too far in, the Scarab swarms can move forward to follow up. And also, these Sisters Repentia could try to kill the Chronomancer. I don't think they will. Mainly the 4-up invuln save, and the fact that if they get too close on a 2-up, they take mortal wounds. You're probably losing 1, maybe 2 of the Repentia on the way in.
Yeah, it's rough. Also, the Zeraphim unique stratagem's not that great. I found it. It's like, oh, that's useless.
So the Red Repentia have popped out. They are moving towards this left flank here to deal with all this stuff going on with Sark and the Silent King. Based off of what Dutz is thinking, it looks like as if he's going for a 2-pronged attack to try to wipe out both sides in one fell swoop. And if they can accomplish that, the Sisters are in an excellent spot, I think.
If they can, yes. It'll be a lot of dice, but could see it. And I mean, these Sister Repentia, of course, gonna have a bucket load of attacks.
Yeah, 3 each base with the sister with the. Is there a sergeant in the squad? There is not.
No.
So yeah, with 3 attacks each, that's gonna end up being 27 attacks. Hitting on 4s, re-rolling to hit. Wounding on 3s, re-rolling 1s because of Junith will be within range. That could definitely put in a number on these warriors who do not have a Chronomatron save this time. What they do have is a pretty nasty amount of Overwatch. Solon Zarek doesn't die, which, I mean, is possible. There are 2 Retributors that can see him.
Yeah, the problem with the Repentia, though, is, he's going to be hitting all these attacks on 4s. So that's not going to be great.
But it's re-rolling everything due to their Zealot rule, right? So they're hitting about 75% of the time. So even with 27 attacks, you hit, even with half of those, suddenly you're looking at 13, 14 hits, and then you re-roll. That adds on like another 6. So you're still hitting like 20 times, wounding on 3s at worst. 2s if you decide to go for other stuff. Re-rolling 1s because of Junie. Alright, and down comes the Seraphim. This is the Inferno Pistol Squad.
Notably not re-rolling 1s, because Bloody Rose versus Martyred Lady.
I thought that Junie gave them bonuses too. My bad. Von Zander, thank you very much for the follow. Hopefully you're enjoying your time here. Hopefully you get to enjoy what is promising to be actually a very interesting match. It's been pretty critical every single turn here for Dutes. I haven't seen Sisters on the back foot in my life.
Very fast-paced, too. I mean, we're already on, end of turn 2, and look at them clocks.
Yeah, the clocks are still almost like around the 1 hour mark of time left. Do you all play any Tau? Von Zander, I am the only idiot playing Tau right now in the TA5S2 as far as I know.
Yeah, what a nerd.
Yeah, but I definitely play some Tau myself. There should be a VOD actually of me playing against Skari and getting brutally massacred. But I did manage to score at least 50 odd points against his list, so that was pretty cool. And I learned a lot about my own list and how to play against his. So, that's a good match if you want to watch it. You can also watch it over on Skari Drukari's channel, the Scarcast channel on YouTube. He even gives some coaching over the course of the game, too. I feel like I kind of got some free Art of War coaching from him, which was nice. Alright, so if you're wondering why we're not listening to the players right now, they are currently in their own chat right now in the Alpha League Discord, which you can go ahead and check out yourself, !TTS Disco, and then follow the link there if you want to go ahead and follow that out. But yeah, I will need to check it out. I just started playing in August and got destroyed every game I played. Von Zander, welcome to Tau at the moment. Sadly, it is like playing extremely hard mode, but as you continue to play Tau, you will be able to get good enough that you will know how to play your army. The longer that you play an army when it's in its most difficult, place to be, which is what we're in right now, the more likely you are going to be able to play them and really wreck face when they get good, because eventually everything gets good. So
that's exactly what happens. Like, you can see this all throughout. Like, it happened to me with Tyranids. I played them through 6th, and it's misery.
Yeah, but like Tyranids right now are actually near the front of the pack. Like they're good.
First released, I was like, oh, I will be running Nids, thank you. Or Dark Angels are the other one. I had Dark Angels for 3 editions, and all of a sudden, very short while ago, it's like
they're groovy. They're amazing.
Now?
Now here's a question. Okay, one thing. Zarek is currently within the ability to attempt to deny a spell, and the Inquisitor is within range of that. So we'll see whether or not the Inquisitor falls back. But if they do, then no psychic spells for you. We have the Inferno Pistols coming down here on the bottom left flank. These are our Melta Pistols from the Sisters, and I think they're looking to go into these Scarab Swarms. What do you think of that choice?
Honestly, I don't mind it, because again, the odds of him killing Tarek aren't super high. If he can kill enough of these scarabs that just some little shooting here and there completely wipes them, the Repentia can put all their attention on the warriors, and if he wipes this flank, that is massive. He can deal with Tarek later. He can't really deal with 20 warriors and 5 scarabs later.
Try the command again, my friend. That should be fixed now. I'm not sure why it expired, but hopefully that new invite does the trick for the So to create the aura circles, that's using a
4 and 5.
Yeah. So to create the aura circles that you're seeing around all over the place, that's using the help of a program called Battlescribe 2 TTS. You can actually find some really good videos on tutorials on how to do that over at Tactical Tortoise, that YouTube channel. Additionally, I know that the TTS Discord that you just got yourself linked to has a very welcoming and easygoing community. There are probably some people there that are willing to teach you, and some tutorials that are linked somewhere in there. So definitely check out those resources. There's plenty of stuff you can find on YouTube, but I recommend Tactical Tortoise and his how to get started with TTS Warhammer videos. I also highly recommend checking out the server, not only his, but definitely ours as well. The Warhammer 40k Discord is really, really good for that. So we'll have to see what goes on here. We are currently removing models, as is your want, really, at this point, as if you were playing as Dutes.
Kill them all.
Oh, that'll explain why it's not working for me. I'm already in that Discord. Excellent, Von Zander. All right, well, glad to have you there. Okay. We're doing some measures here. I'm wondering if the Seraphim are going to try to charge the Necron Warriors, or...
I don't know.
I don't know either. Okay, look, instead of trying to do that, why don't we predict what's going to happen? So we expected the Infernos to try to find someplace to go down, but there's no way to get within 9 inches with them on the first turn that they drop, as far as we know. Not with 2 CP anyway. And Zarek is going to live. By the look of things, unless if the Retributors use the fallback and shoot strat, which they did not, Zarek is going to live throughout the rest of the game. Very, very probably. That's not good. He could probably wreck this entire flank by himself if he's given the opportunity. The Seraphim with the Flamers have not yet gone down, preferring to wait until turn 3. Yeah, so Von Zander, if you're looking for the program, look for Battlescribe. It's a free program that helps you to build your lists. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but if you find the tutorials, if you find some resources, they can all be extremely helpful. And I would recommend them for sure. Oh, we stayed in combat over here to make sure these Necron Warriors don't do anything else. We got some Overwatch happening here, I'm guessing from the Red Squad. They've eliminated some Seraphim.
Repentia. A lot of Repentia.
Some Repentia dying, yeah. So that means that pretty much all the Repentia squads are gone.
Yeah, Red Warrior squad's probably not going to be going anywhere. Hey, I'm going to be right.
Yeah, take your time. It's fine. I can talk like a motor mouth, so it's all good. Von Zander, I did not know that it creates auras. It does not by itself. If you go to a website, here, I'll go ahead and link it for you, my friend. It is battlescribe2tts.net, I believe it is. Let me just check to see if that's correct. It is. If you use that and you put your list in there, it gives you a code. Using the resources in the Warhammer 40k Discord, there is a gigantic mod pack that gives you a variety of different mods for Tabletop Simulator. Those mods will allow you to effectively script all your models in such a way that using a numpad, you can create aura circles, you can organize them into ranks. It's super, super, super helpful. So make sure that you go ahead and check those out. Again, if you're looking for tutorials or knowledge on how to do it, I don't think there's many better places other than people on the Discord or the Tactical Tortoise YouTube channel for a variety of their different tutorials. So right now, we've got the Repentia who have tagged their Necron Warriors. Big yikes. Unless if there's something else that goes in there to really help them out, they will do a little bit of damage and then die for nothing. Over here, it seems as if the Zephyrim could go into the Necron Warriors. They kind of have to if they want to deal with this purple squad. If they don't, it's a problem. The Sisters Repentia want to go after this Chronomaster. I don't think that's going to help very much either. They might be better off going after these Necron Warriors. And the biggest problem here is the Necrons have so much CP. They can waste CP like it's nothing else's business and can go ahead and interrupt all day long if need be. So as a result, I can fully expect that if, depending on where the Dutes decides to start fighting, there's going to be some fight right back. So re-rolling to hit, because this is the Repentia, they have the Zealotry rule that allows them to re-roll. They also have exploding on 6s, so 2 additional hits come back, effectively producing a 100% return. These are wounding on 2s. I believe that there's a stratagem used. Yeah. Okay, cool. So these Repentia are definitely going to do some work, but they do not have the 5-up invulnerable save, which means that these Repentia should just be killing 8 Necron Warriors right out of the gate, which is fine. Really, the Necron player looks at this and goes, "Oh, okay," and then gets to reanimate on 5s, re-rolling 1s. So that's going to be 8 reanimation rolls. The Red Repentia having done some damage. Already, 4 of them are back. So those Repentia, having killed 8, only really managed to kill 4, which are then going to be able to respawn next to the Repentia, and then it's go time. So the Necrons now still have more than enough CP to interrupt. They don't need to interrupt over here. If the Purple Warriors interrupt right now, it is going to hurt something at the very least. If they decide to interrupt, they don't even necessarily need to, is the other thing. Mind you, if this Purple Warrior squad can, they should. In my opinion, but we'll see. There are some huge benefits to that. Also, these Scarabs can definitely do some damage first. What are my thoughts on broadsides? I love them. Particularly the Magna Rail Rifle broadsides right now are very cost efficient for the Tau army. 235 points or so for 3 broadsides with reasonably good AP and everything else is really, really strong. And as long as you back them up with the ability to Monka to fall back and still shoot, they are well worth your time protecting and using. They can hurt quite a lot. I love them with Shadow Sun in particular.
Talk about these filthy Xenos when there's a different battle right in front of us.
I know, but there's the other filthy Xenos here. So, right now, the Necron Warriors are piling in. There seems to have been, yep, that's 2 CP used for an interrupt, and there's still 8 CP left to use here for the Necrons, because Zarek gives you 3 command points just for making him your Warlord, which he has to. The Necron Warriors are now piling in, and they are going to try to see what they can kill. Since we're out of the shooting phase right now, so long as they stay within range of everything else, that way they're within range of the Ghost Arc, and within 9 inches of the Chronomaster at the beginning of the command phase, they will be able to go ahead and repair quite a number of them as well. Okay, they're piling around. Now, the big and important kills right now would be killing off these pink Zephyrim if they could. They are the majority of the attacks. The Sisters Repentia will probably go down. But we'll have to see what happens here in terms of CP usage. I would sink some CP into the Purple Warrior squad myself, but we'll have to see. They're running custom set with Farsight. Just bought 2 broadsides. Keep in mind that the Monk Ka and Cao Yan are set locked, so you do need to make sure that you're Monk Ka-ing with the same set as your commander is. All right, out comes some rolls here for saves. Feeling the pain's not going to be enough. That's the blue Repentia squad removed from existence. So yeah, this Purple Warrior squad is likely to survive now, but at least we do get a CP. We do get a Miracle Dice. It's another one. So the Miracle Dice have not been in Dude's favor so far.
Nope.
And I like Ghost Skills actually, but I can see a list without them as well. All right, so we got attacks now going into the Zephyrim squad. It's going to be a 2 to wound here because we've used some stratagems. Yep, that's the 2 stratagems I expected to be used. And none of them die as far as I know, unless if... Oh no, that's the Battle Sister squad. Okay, now we're going into the Zephyrim squad here. These are hitting on 3s. Not a great start, sadly. Okay, wounding on that. One of them is at -1, the other one's at -0. That's 1 dead. That's 1 alive. Okay, so that's going to be 1 Zephyrim down, but that does change the math pretty... No, 2 of them down. That does change the math pretty drastically.
A lot, actually.
Monka does allow fallback and shoot Von Zander. It's just that the Monka and Cao Yan are sept locked, which means that if your Farsight Sept commander is doing stuff and you have a custom Sept broadside detachment, they will not be able to fall back and shoot because they need to be the same Sept. All right, we got some rolls here from the Zephyrim. Bunch of extra hits, as is your order. And now they're rolling to wound here. They need 3s if they rolled with the +1 to wound, which they don't have. So it's only 15. 5 up invulnerable saves now coming out, followed by whatever of those does die. So it's 10 dead 10 dead warriors. Yeah, no worries, Von Zander. But yeah, that's going to be 10 dead warriors, and then they get to respawn.
I'm sorry, Slowwolf, but I'm getting like a migraine right now, so I'm actually probably gonna have to.
My dude, don't worry about it. I'll do my best.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
no, it's okay.
I can't really focus through this. So.
It's fine. It's fine. You take it easy. No worries. I'll handle it from here.
Yeah. Best of luck to both of our players, and may it be an interesting game.
All right, and you take it easy, Rallo. You get better, okay? And we'll see you whenever we see you next. It was lovely to have you on here while you were here, and all your sister's input has been super, super helpful.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too. All right, so at this point, the Necrons are busy killing off whichever warriors they need to kill off, so that way they can hold on to the objective or stay within range. It seems as if Kellen has made the objective decision to hold on to the warriors within range of certain places, and is right now trying to reanimate as much as possible. It has reanimated 5 by the look of things, based off of these rolls. So yeah, 5 of the of those 10 warriors that actually did get killed by the Zephyrim, only 5 of them actually died, which means that morale is not going to be an issue. They still hold the objective through models and OBSEC alone, and now they're also out of combat, which means they don't even need to fall back. They can just shoot, which is not what you want, unless if the Zephyrim decide to pile in, but I don't think they can. We'll have to see what happens. But that's a pretty ineffective fight phase right now. And we still haven't even fought back with these red warriors right now, which could easily just walk in, hit on 2s, wound on... let's see, he's going to be strength 5. So wounding on 3s, re-rolling to wound because of the Zarakin aura. And he still also has these Scarab swarms to be able to fight with. So it looks as if the Scarabs are going all in on the Inquisitor to kill him. Can't blame him. Killing that Inquisitor is another character, another 3 points for Assassinate. It's definitely the right call to be making. These will be hitting on 4s, auto-wounding on 6s. They weren't charged or anything, so no Necron bonuses. So that's going to be 2 auto-wounds already. And just another wound on top of that. Oh no, it's not enough. The Inquisitor goes down. That's 3 points for Assassinate. The Scarab Swarms live. Now, Junith Iruda here, Junie, is going to be able to do some real damage. Rerolling ones because they said so. Now, these should be wounding on something pretty effective. Alright, so wounding on 3s here. You need 5 up invuln saves. Only 1 goes through, so that's going to be 2 dead bases, if I remember my math correctly. Yep, and then reanimation. So far, these Necron Scarabs have been reanimating very well. The whole squad has been killed, effectively, but due to reanimation, 2 have come back. So right now, these 2 are, like, extra. These 2 Scarabs have been just bonuses that the Necron team has been able to just sit with, which is excellent news for them. We'll have to see what they do. They might just sit there in combat with Junie, so that way the Necron Warriors can... Oh, and the Repentia have just been removed from existence. Fair enough. If the Scarab Swarms just sit there with Junie right there, then, they can try to charge them. I think the probably safer bet is to have them fall back behind some form of cover, so that way next turn they can be useful. And then have the Necron Warriors just shoot everything. There's a Battle Sister squad within range that they could shoot. And then charging a Rhino safely, tagging the Retributors. That's what I expect will happen here. As for this purple squad, I fully expect them to be able to remove the OBSEC and to shoot the Zephyrim into pieces. And then potentially charge and get some kills that way as well, although there's no guarantee there. Yeah, this could be a very brutal turn, and if this purple squad manages to survive long enough to get in on this, that'll be nasty. We'll have to see what happens too, as the Infernal Pistols have gone down. Zarek is now relatively safe from everything, so long as these Retributors get tagged and killed in summary order. And it seems as if we've got a concession. Whoa! Okay, well, let's go ahead and hop into the room and give a quick talk with our friends here. A concession is pretty early here, but it seems as if it's a strong start. So we got a concession?
10 victory points.
Yeah, what's up?
So we have a concession?
We're just talking about the rest of it.
Okay, cool. In that case, then I'll just sit here and listen, and after that, do you guys mind giving a quick thought process?
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think
I think
the biggest deal, like you said, that losing that charge 21 was huge for you, because it meant that you exposed yourself because you wanted to get into the position, and normally you would be guaranteed to do that, but because it flubbed, it just meant that I could strike at the underbelly.
Yeah, I was kind of going through it in my head. It was basically a loss of 200 points of units more if you consider the Retributors, which you would, because I would have been move blocking the Scarabs, or the Scarabs would have been gone. I would have been move blocking the Necron Warriors.
Right.
And probably another 9 points in secondaries, because I would have gotten engaged that turn for 2, and then because I didn't do it, I lost my home objective and the banner there, so that's like another potentially 6 victory points lost. And then potentially, who knows how many on primaries, because it kind of depends on the rest of the table.
Yeah.
But
And then
that's the thing with Sisters, is like against Necrons is actually, it's a tough matchup against Necrons because you have so many CP. I have to charge one thing per turn, and I cannot charge more than one thing per turn because you just interrupt and kill whatever the other charging unit is.
right.
Especially as Novak, right? Because you can just,
For this reason is why I think that Novak is the best dynasty, even better than like the obsec crap that you can do with them. Just because of the ability to have 20 warriors do 40 attacks in melee at strength 6 is just so crazy sometimes.
Especially with the rerolls that Zarek is giving them, it makes them extremely efficient.
Yeah, rerolling to hit in that Overwatch. I'm sure that you saw that Overwatch at the last turn.
That
with
was
the retention,
nasty.
Killing 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it's not even if he didn't fail Terrify, I still had a deny in my pocket for the Silent King as well.
Yeah, because he can deny from 24 inches away. He doesn't need to be within 18 inches to use his dynastic thing to be able to do the deny, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean he has a built-in deny in his data sheet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was within 24
stratagem.
inches to do that, which is super, super hot.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah.
Especially when you are an army with no psychers.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I've been toying with Zarek lists, just so that way I can ignore mortal wounds when I can't do the denies, but no, this list is tried and true. Where'd you get the idea for this list, by the way?
It's pretty heavily inspired by Richard Siegler.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
One of the best Necron players in the world, probably. And I mean, so far it's proved its weight. Like, it really just amplifies all of the things that are good about Necrons that we know are good, like Chronomancers. Some people will say 3 Chronomancers is too many, but it's like, can you have too many 5-up and vulnerable saves on your Scarabs and Warriors?
I don't understand any of the people who don't take Chronomancers if they're taking 20 Warriors. Like, that is such a huge upgrade.
Absolutely agreed.
They're so cheap, and it's guaranteed.
Yeah, like the 5-up invul and save on them, plus the reroll to charge when you're Novak in particular is nasty as hell. It works particularly well when they got the Veil of Darkness, like the one Chronomancer does, and that flank was just astoundingly strong. Mind you, got some really good shooting off on that Rhino. I did not expect the Rhino to go down, but that was really solid.
Yeah, I was a little scared about the -1 to hit, but like with 40 shots at strength 5, AP -2, a T7 10 wound Rhino generally will get gunned down by 20 warriors, but I was definitely worried about the math with the -1 to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty brutal. Did you guys end up talking through the scores?
We did, yeah.
Oh, so what did the final score end up being for the two of you?
Looks like 100 for Kellen and 26 for me.
Wow. Jesus. Just 20, okay.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of concluded that like he would be pretty much trapped on his side of the table for the rest of the game because he's lost a lot of his punch against my warriors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me failing to because it's basically the way this map plays is we both kind of trade one side of our deployment zone.
Yeah.
And me failing that repention charge basically
removed your ability to trade effectively.
Yeah,
because...
and not only can I not trade, but I'm fighting over my own objective.
Yeah, which is not what you want at all.
like I expect to veil, and I expect to lose one of these objectives, right? I can just start moving my forces back this way.
Yeah,
but
and
I losing both, and then losing all of my, half of my hard hitting units in basically the first turn is basically curtains for that.
So, question. Why did you not bring down the Hand Flamer Seraphim this turn then? If you really needed to do or die, this would have been the turn to bring them in.
Because the only unit I could really afford to shoot them or shoot, the only unit I could afford to shoot with them would have been these Necron Warriors here.
Yeah.
And if I did that, then that would have guaranteed probably that the Repentia would have not made their charge.
I see.
And just would have pulled out.
Or if
So-
I was feeling even more confident, killed some warriors, reanimated more of them in Overwatch range just to get even more of them down in Overwatch or something like that as well.
Yeah,
And
you
that-
can
That all kind of spirals back from, having all of my stuff tied up in this objective. Because normally Terrify is not my only tool for ignoring Overwatch, right? The rhinos are the main tool.
Yeah, playing bumper cars is usually really good for that.
Yeah, and I made a huge mistake in the last turn by not consolidating. I could have just consolidated this rhino into engagement range. With the scripts that were here, and that would have prevented that. But
yeah, it would have prevented it. It would have also potentially caused an issue if they were unable to because Necrons don't really have a way to fall back and shoot baseline without help from either a character or the Veil of Darkness to do so. So being able to tag them that way too would have been helpful.
Yeah, my next protocol is going to be Hungry Void again, and then Undying Legions, then Vengeful Stars. But I had Conquering Tyrant in my back pocket.
Specifically in case if you got tagged and needed to fall back and shoot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's actually really powerful play.
And then I have Eternal Guardian usually in my back pocket too, in case I'm playing a shooty army, I go second. Then I can just switch it out and get cover that first turn. So that's generally my thought process on protocols with the Silent King.
It's a really powerful way to play. I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what Siegler has also pretty much said, is that he keeps that in his back pocket just so that way he can fall back and shoot the turn he needs it, rather than having to kind of bet on it, which is really difficult to do, actually. Extremely difficult to do. I have never had any luck doing protocols and getting that one on exactly the turn that I need it.
Yeah, so just having the audible that you can throw with the Silent King is so freaking powerful.
Yeah.
And it's another point for Zerakin, because that's not just the Silent King thing, that's a Warlord trait thing. You can just do that.
Yeah.
I believe. Unless it's I forget which one is the duplicate, or which one is the...
No, duplicate's the Warlord trait. And Sarek is the one that's like, hey, I actually want this command protocol this turn, and then he can slot it in.
Right, okay, so then that is just the Silent thing.
Yeah, the Silent King on his own is already really good, but the Warlord trait he has to have just means that you get the command protocols that are the most efficient at all times, which is just... It makes him really, really good on top of the rest of his page of rules. He is gross. Not getting the kill first turn was actually really brutal, and I saw that you were going for Inferno Pistols, actually, dudes, to try to take him out earlier. That seemed to have not worked just because of where the Necron Warriors were spreading around and everything. Was that actually the plan, was to try to use the Inferno Pistols to take him out earlier, or was it just not enough room?
To be honest, I've kind of moved away from the Inferno Pistol Seraphim, because basically in this list what ends up happening is I usually use the Hand Flamer Seraphim first.
Yeah.
And by the time it's turn 3, I usually have 1 or 2 CP, and I don't want to spend it on 4 rando Inferno Pistol shots, because just the way I roll, they typically just don't even do that much. I think best case scenario, they pick up a character that just reses itself anyways.
Yeah.
So I've kind of moved away from the Inferno Pistol Seraphim. It was just a matter of this charge failed, so the Necron Warriors are further up, and I can't shoot them with Hand Flamer Seraphim, so I might as well just bring these guys down here. And then, if these charges went really well, if this charge went really well, then maybe we've still got a game, and they can move up here and try to get Sarek next turn or something.
Was there a world, potentially, where the red Repentia went for Purple Squad instead, and then combined with the Seraphim, effectively tried to retake this trade? Retake this flank and then push up that way? Because there wasn't very much backing up that flank past the Purple Warriors.
It is possible. The problem back here, though, is when Kellen still had all his warriors here, it was actually kind of crowded.
Yeah,
so
it was.
I was worried about just not being able to get all my stuff in. And the more stuff that I did shove in just meant that was going to be more stuff that died to the interrupt. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible. But at this point in the game, I needed to go for the super high risk, high reward play. And it just didn't work out. So.
Yeah, that Overwatch was really, really harsh. What tools do sisters have really to deal with these 20-man warrior blobs? Because I remember that Rallo, before he had to leave, he got a pretty bad migraine, sadly. But before he had to leave, we were talking about how these bigger squads of warriors were just really difficult for you to have to remove, and you didn't have efficient shooting to remove anything, really. The scarabs are only really efficiently removed by multi-meltas, and you don't want to put meltas into the scarabs. And the warriors were only really efficiently removed by Repentia, but you don't want to be charging the Repentia into warriors either, because of Overwatch, and just there's so many of them, especially with the 5-up invuln save. What tools do you think you have in your codex to be able to deal with this kind of crap?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Basically, the tools are the Repentia and the Zephyrin. You just have to be very careful, right? You got to have the rhinos in place. In my case, I take the Inquisitor, so I like to have him just on backup.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like I was saying earlier, is I can really only charge one unit at a time.
Yeah.
Or one unit per turn until Kellen blows through all the CP, which he is a smart player and didn't do that.
Yeah, the way this is going, I have a feeling that Kellen would have not have blown through all of his CP until turn 5, and even then it would have been on your turn.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is like the Zephyrim, the Repentia, statistically they'll kill 17 to 18 Necron Warriors.
Yeah.
With, maybe like 1 CP spent for +1 a wound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty easy to get to, like random Stormbolter fire, random fire from Junith, maybe, random, just some kind of random thing will maybe kill 3 to 5 warriors. And then I can basically guarantee, or at least, severely hamper the amount of Necron Warriors that are going to be remaining after that charge, if there are any remaining.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've done in my new list, which is basically getting rid of these Inferno Pistol Seraphim, which I don't really get to use as I intended.
Yeah.
I end up switching those guys out and a couple other units for a Immolator.
Yeah, yeah.
Which just has, random heavy bolter shots that not only work to kind of whittle down the warriors a little bit, but also it functions as, hey, here's another vehicle. Feel free to shoot Overwatch at this vehicle when it charges you.
Yeah, and its weapons are really uniquely well suited to dealing with warriors and scarabs and the 5-up invuln saves that they can have. Heavy Bolter actually does pretty well against scarabs. The Flamer does wonderful work against the Necrons, the warriors, because the AP -1 to 3s to wound for the most part, and it's just a lot of shots. Yeah. Or if you decide to go full bolters, then yeah, they could just do whatever you need to from the back as well. I like the idea of the Immolators. Mind you, I saw what these ladies could, the Seraphim with the Inferno Pistols could do against like Inceptors. It's great for counter Space Marine play, but I don't think necessarily that that's exactly what you need all the time. I think you have other tools to deal with Space Marines, and right now I agree with you that there's definitely a need for maybe a bit more diversity in terms of weapon types to be able to deal with like hordes or something like that.
Yeah, and I think the if you look at the math, the Hand Flamers are actually pretty good against toughness 5 multi-wound models too.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Because they're still wounding on 5s, but I'm getting all those auto hits, and it ends up being a cheaper unit anyways. So really looking away from the Inferno Pistol at this point. They're not in any of my newer lists.
Also, actually, no, never mind. I was going to say it might save you some CP on Deadly Descent if you want to shoot with them, but you might still want to shoot with them twice or something.
It does in a way, because I also like Hand Flamer Seraphim are so cheap that I almost don't even mind just like chucking them in a corner for like a just like a scramble or something, or I can chuck them behind some terrain and have them pop out the next turn. Like I have no problem doing that either. Whereas the Inferno Pistols, like I feel like I have to get some kind of value out of them when I put them down.
Yeah.
And I almost never do. So,
are you gonna continue playing Sisters if you decide to join AF League again next season?
I might. Sisters is like my second army. I mostly play Chaos, so we'll see what else is looking like for next season.
And Kellen,
Yes.
You move on to the well, you're the finalist for Group 2, so congratulations.
Thank you.
But now you move on to the grand finals, and you're playing up against Admech, Lockjaw's list specifically.
Oh boy.
How are you feeling about that particular matchup? Because if
Remind me
if
how
the
many
sisters,
bombers he has again?
I think he's only got one bomber, so you're good there.
yeah, he's only got the one copter. But one copter is one thing, but he's got a full squad of Ballistari. He's got a couple of Jazz Hand Priests squads. He's got the firepower necessary to deal with your warrior blobs and stuff like that for sure. And he could also shoot Zarek. He also has the ability to turn off auras, which makes Zarek feel a little bit weaker than you'd like, to say the least. That said, it's not like you don't have any counterplay yourself. How do you feel about going into a match against Admech, just in general? And do you think you're confident going into that matchup?
Well, I mean, I've started kind of just saying no matter how I feel about the matchup, I'm going to win.
Ho ho!
Because, if you manifest that, then maybe you will. But so I think I'm going to win. But as far as the matchup goes, Admech they're tough. Like the Jazz Hand Priests, I've played against them before. They are scary.
Yeah.
It's anything with like decent volume and anything that can take out a Marine equivalent, it's going to be pretty good into Necron Warriors and stuff. I think I'm probably going to have to end up playing similar to how I played this game, like try to get first turn, but also play relatively cagey.
Yeah.
And that bomber's going to have to go immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the potential for 9 mortal wounds on Zarek without him being able to do anything about it is scary, and then not to mention also just however many mortal wounds he can throw into warriors too.
Yeah. Especially because you guys are Novak, not Zarek, and those mortal wounds can absolutely do some work.
Yeah, but if his melee elements fall, then warriors can easily just wrap up some Bellastari walkers and stop those las cannons from doing anything.
For sure. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. If you have any other thoughts, please, now would be the time.
I'm not finished it.
Okay. Do either of you two have any final words or anything else you'd like to say, Doots?
Just Kellen, thanks for the game, man. It was a good game. Well deserved. So good luck in your.
Thank you very much for the game. I was talking to him at the start of the game that Doots was my first ever competitive matchup, and he kicked my ass. So this was retribution.
We've come full circle.
Well, I have to admit, it is lovely to hear two people have a competitive match and a rivalry going on and still be absolute, gentle persons about it. It is a heartwarming moment for me to listen to that. So thank you for that, you two, and thank you for the excellent game. It was a lot of fun to watch, despite the fact that it ended fairly brusquely. It was a hard-fought fight regardless, and definitely showed the power of what Necrons can do against an S-tier army, like Sisters can be. Thanks, you two, and you guys have yourself an excellent weekend.
Awesome, man.
You too. Thank you for hosting us.
Of course. All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. A Necron victory. Very powerful victory, but definitely not the end of the world. 126 after they talk out all the points. That's very generous for the Necrons, I think, but overall, absolutely frightening. They move on to face Lockjaw and his Admech, who we've definitely covered on the channel and who you'll be able to see on the YouTube channel in due time. Yeah, excellent stuff. I had a lot of fun watching that one. But that's it. Group 2 champions, the Necrons, move forward to the grand finals, which will hopefully be streamed sometime next weekend. Yeah, that's it from us. Please do go ahead and check out the YouTube channel. Check out our Discord. If you guys would like to participate next season, that's the place. The Discord is the place to do it. And yeah, my name's been Slowwolf. I have been your, to quote Scary here, grateful host. Thank you so much for listening and for watching the game with us today. The music today was brought to you by the one, the only inestimable production talents of Midwinter Minis is Death by Dice Volume 1. You can check them out on Bandcamp. It's a variety of other artists and Midwinter Minis himself, having composed several things there. And yeah, that's it. Be sure to follow, hit the bell for notifications when these videos go live and everything. And I'm going to go ahead and pay out the believers for the people that ended up choosing that the Necrons would have more points. So congratulations, you win the most points. Yeah, that's it from us. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you did, be sure to let us know. Please be sure to give us any feedback at the links that we've that we've given to people. And that's it. I've been your host. It's been a Necron win. And stay safe, stay healthy, and wash your hands.